Hello and welcome to Indiepocalypse Radio. It is once again the end of the month, which is once again anime, music, video night. My favorite night of the month now because I get to look up cool looking videos, and I've talked about this before. I think they're like beautiful and earnest, and it's a kind of a great art form. It's fan cams aren't the same. I'll argue that to the death. It's not just like you got to tell a story. I'm gonna have one that's like actually telling a story. I think is a neat thing. But anyway, we've got a great show ahead of you. This is Indie Apocalypse Radio, though, by the way, your number one home of unmarketable video games and tabletop games. A real misfit household of miscreant weirdos. We've got a great show. We've got a new guest, some old returning faves, and more AMVs ahead. But first, let's get to our very first guest, who you may know from issue 10 of Indie Pop with Asobi. It is Rinkaku of Team Solitude. Rinkaku, how you doing?
I all is fine, thanks. What about you?
I'm doing great. I'm all pumped up. It's the middle of the day for me. I love doing these in the middle of the day.
Well, here it's almost night, so I think it's okay like this.
Um,
Yeah, it's a bit late, but it's a pleasure to be here, so it's okay.
it's a pleasure to have you here, as always, with
Thank
every
you.
guest. Except, I don't think I've ever ended a thing thinking, wow, what a displeasure to have that guest. I mean, there's no saying you may not be the first, but there's a first for everything. And I trust you not to be the first guest I have a displeasure with.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry, I'm gotta tone myself down. I'm going a little. So I gotta ask
Mhm.
you number one question, the most important question I need to ask every guest that appears on Indiepocalypse Radio, or most
Okay.
of them that do. How did you hear about Indiepocalypse?
Well, we have found it on itch.io when we were working on Azubi, which was the submission for issue 10. And well, we were curious about the idea of Zine. Is that how you pronounce it in
Uh,
English? I don't know.
it's zine. Think of it as being short for
Zine. Okay.
magazine,
Okay. Thank you.
because they're
Um,
like little magazines.
yeah, exactly. So we were curious about this idea, and we decided to, just try and send our game, and that's all.
And then as it turned out, it all worked out just fine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
I think you might have
So.
even been. I have like a running list of developers that it's my massive to play list. Which, if you found yourself on my to play list, might I recommend submitting your game? But I think it might have
Okay.
been. I think Team Solitude might have. Now, is it Solitude pronounced like Solitude, or is there a little
Yeah, yeah,
spice? Okay,
that's right. Yes.
okay, but with like better SEO because it's a unique spelling.
Yeah.
Uh, but you have a team. Given that it's a team, there.
Hmm.
How many of you are on the team?
Currently, there is five of us.
Okay.
So it's me and for 2D artists.
Okay. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of 2D artists. So
Yeah.
in that case, do you do like most of the
Yes.
writing and the programming?
Yeah, I primarily work on the writing and programming, but some of the other members of the team also do some editing of the text
Yeah.
or the story, or give feedback and things like that. And I also, manage all the social things of the team.
Oh yes, that that aspect that really fun aspect of
Yeah, exactly.
putting out a game. You listen.
The best part of game development.
You've been doing a great job of it this week, doing better promo for the show than I have.
Well, I just had this idea of, presenting a little bit of all the things we've done. After all, we have almost reached the first anniversary of the team.
Oh,
So, well, we have surpassed it probably,
yeah.
but in a month we will reach the anniversary of our first release. So I thought, well, why not? And I just did it.
It was very cool, honestly, because it's something.
Thank you.
I think game developers are pretty bad at like you know pushing away their old stuff if it doesn't become like mega hits and things like that, and being like, well, on
Mhm.
to the next thing. But like,
Yeah, that's true. For us too. I mean, we don't really market anymore our older games.
yeah,
Basically, we move on to the new ones. But it's like bands during a concert. They play their old stuff, but
yeah,
also the new stuff. So when we have the occasion, we also present the our old projects and yeah.
yeah. I think it's important to remember that your old stuff can still can still in fact be good. I mean, honestly,
Yeah, exactly. It's still valuable. I mean, we have made all these games a lot of time ago, but I mean, yeah, they're still valuable today. So why not talk about them a little more when we have the occasion to do so? Hmm.
now this is a thought I just had a moment ago.
Hmm.
Have you considered? And I kind of say this to like every developer. Have you considered making like a using the very handy launcher that I use for Indiepocalypse and like just putting all of the old ones together and me like or like slowly adding like Team Solitude library, which like oh, I play all of them out of this one.
Well, we have thought about a collection of our games, but it's a little bit complicated because it's difficult to put together games made on the engine we use. So
Oh
that
no,
is a thing, and we still haven't really figured out how to do so. So maybe that will be a great idea. I think.
let
Yeah.
me. Have I told you? About, let me tell you about a really helpful tool, and I will
Yeah.
actually link this to you in the Discord properly because I think
Okay. Thank you.
it's called Launcher, made by a bunch of friends of the show, like
Hmm.
Ash and other friends of the show. Who's I'm like, what name do they go by online? I don't remember. There's some people.
Okay.
People online have so many names. You know how it is.
Yes.
Uh, but it's made in Godot and it launches pretty much anything. So if
Okay.
it'll just like launch your executables,
Hmm.
and it's very easy. As someone like myself who has never used Godot, it's very easy to
Okay.
use.
Oh, great. I will take a look at it and we'll see how we can make something with it. Hmm.
Yeah, because it's just basically just a matter of like plugging in screenshots and then directing it like to your executable and putting them all in one
Okay.
folder,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then you can just like, hey, launch them all from there. I think it's very neat, and I think it's a cool thing for game
Nice. Yeah, it's
developers.
very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, because especially as
Okay.
like tools become more democratized, you get more people who are
Hmm.
getting into development who are like not good programmers, such as
Yeah,
myself.
just like me. So I mean, that's
Yes,
perfect.
so when someone tells me when I'm like, oh, it would be really when people suggested, oh, Indie Apocalypse should have a launch, I'm like, that sounds like a literally impossible thing to make.
Yeah.
But then some people who are good at programming, they're like, oh no, it's actually very easy to make. And I was like, well,
Oh,
thank
great.
you, thank you for making
Hmm.
it. But I guess it's true of like any sort of skill, that seems impossible from the outside.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when we started making our games, even the engine we use, which is RenPy,
Yeah.
seemed something like an impossible quest. I
Yes.
mean, a single game seemed like, I don't know, I want to do this project, but what do I do? How can I do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, at the first step, it's very difficult to approach even only the idea of succeed in making something. So yeah.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience with Renpai, where it's like this seems too complicated for me. But then also, I always want to do other weird things, and Ren'Py is built for very
Mhm.
good for doing the thing that it wants to do. But if you want to do like some other stuff,
Yeah, something else, it becomes difficult. Yes, yes, very difficult. Even only making an original menu, I mean a customized menu,
yeah,
it's really long and difficult, and you just give up at some
yeah.
point.
And I've gotten into like accepting that I should probably buy tool sets where I can, and I bought like a bunch
Hmm.
of dialogue toolkits for Game Maker a while ago, for when
Okay.
perhaps I might actually make a game once again.
Hmm.
But speaking of making games,
Yes.
you're making a game right now, aren't you?
Well, we are working on two, actually.
Oh, it is. Okay, I didn't know if it was two or if that was like an
Yeah.
ampersand within the title.
Well, one is in a little bit of a hiatus. Well, it's paused for some time
Yeah.
because we had to work on a different project, which was our latest release, a sketchbook about her son.
Okay.
And now we are working for a small game jam. Well, small, but not so small,
Yes.
which is related to Haunted PS1. And yeah, we're gonna work on that one, and then we will get back to Homunculus Hotel, which has been our main project since October or November, which is also a sort of sequel to Azobi. So
Okay.
it's connected to yeah.
Building a small. So you're building your own cinematic universe, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, perfect. I gotta follow all the characters through the different streaming platforms in order to find them all.
Exactly, yes.
The only way. Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, in a way, all of our games are connected,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah.
yes, in the
There's this.
in the way that an artist creating something tends to have a through line to their work, no matter what they're
Mhm.
making.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to take some characters and give them more space in other projects or maybe some teams and things like that. So that's what we usually do.
And what's your usual like? What's the usual cycle on? Because you've been doing this for a year. Is it like a 3 month ish kind of development time or longer, or is it really depending on like what kind of jam you're making it for or what the game is going to be?
Yeah, it depends a little bit on both these aspects. I mean, first the occasion we make it for. So, for example, Azobi was originally made for the Spooktober Jam, which is a game jam for visual novel developers. And the task was to make a game in 1 month. So we started by setting the limit of the game. So not too big, not particularly, you know, surprising in some aspects, but just a story about a character.
Yeah.
Then we decided the theme of the project, which was the work that this character usually does, and how she feels about it. And then we have like found some references, like movies or other games or generally other stories to work on the development. So, for example, in Azobi, we used as a basis or base a film by a Japanese director who is Shinya Tsukamoto, and the movie is A Snake of June. And so we kind of tried to understand the concept of that movie and how we could, transport the same sensations in our game, and while also making something like a homage or a thank you letter in a sort to the director. So
Yeah.
that's basically how we usually work. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause that's. I also have sort of like a very, I don't know. I come from a lot of design from like a very adaptive
Hmm.
standpoint, or of like how do I adapt the ideas of this other piece of art into a
Yeah.
game, or
Yeah.
this feeling it gives me.
It's interesting because you get to work with a material that is not yours in a way,
Yeah.
because you're looking at this other thing and you say, okay, how can I create the same sensation? How did they achieve it? And how can I achieve it in a way?
Yeah.
Uh,
Especially through
yeah,
like how do I do this through an interactive medium?
exactly. Yes.
It's a little bit trickier.
Especially that. Yeah.
Like
A lot, actually, especially if you're working on a visual novel, because they seem very easy to be made, but they're actually the contrary,
yeah.
because you don't have too many gameplay elements. Even if you uh, have, I don't know, for example, in some of our projects, we had a point and click feature.
Yeah.
But even in that case, it's difficult because it has to make sense. It has to communicate the right feelings and experiences and ideas to the players. So that becomes especially difficult in regards to choices, because all the choices must make sense in the context of the
Yeah.
game, and especially they must be interesting for the players. So
And,
when you mix all these elements together, it just becomes a nightmare sometimes.
right.
But
Right. Especially because like you can't once you start allowing choices, it's very easy for them to balloon out of control, and you have to be like, well,
exactly, yes.
it can't branch to this absurd degree. So, but it's they have to feel meaningful at the same time.
Exactly, yeah. And so it becomes really difficult to balance the relationship between how many choices you want to place throughout the game, and how all these choices are gonna influence the players in some
Yeah.
way. And it's really a nightmare. Yeah, really
Yes.
a
Yes.
nightmare.
Yes.
Yes.
My approach to that kind of thing very when I was starting on very early on, and like for me it was like clearly like there was like a binary between either you make the choices for the character or you don't. So it's like, well, if I'm the
Yeah.
character, I have to make all the dialogue decisions, or else like it's potentially they could say something that as a player might feel disconnected from, and
Hmm.
it's like that would take forever.
Yeah, that's true. We tried making something like this one of our oldest projects, which was Reminiscence in the Night, and all the dialogues made by the player are only choices. You don't have any kind of dialogue line outside of them, if not obviously from the narrator or the other characters. Uh, in a way, it's interesting to make something like this because players really become the character, and so everything gets more relatable in a way. But it's so long to
Yeah.
make. It's really too much.
Right, right. Unless you have, unless the like design approach is like, and this is a an approach that I take with um,
Hmm.
table like running tabletop games. Is I think of the idea of a forest with a singular like entrance and exit. You know,
Okay.
the idea being that you go in one place, you really mess around the forest and have go on a grand adventure,
Hmm.
but you kind of always come out the same end point. But it's,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes. We started making something like that from um, well, in reality, from our first game. I mean, you start from one point and the ending is very linear,
yeah,
but the experience that players can explore in a way is all in the middle of the game. So you start from the same point and arrive at the same point, but in a different way, or
Yeah.
with a different mindset, or with a different experience in general. So yeah, I think that's one is really
Yeah.
a good way to make this.
Right, because a similar ending doesn't always mean the exact everything is ended the exact same. It sometimes it just means that the whatever conflict is resolved,
Hmm.
and like
Yeah,
the resolution is given context by the choices you made along the way.
exactly. Yes, yes, that's true. For example, if you look at Asobi in particular,
Yeah.
all this the memories that the character tells to the protagonist are very different, and so you get a different picture of her during the game depending on what you wanted her to talk about. So
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Well, perfect, Mikaku. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, for me too.
We have reached the end of our time here.
Yep.
So I've got to ask you, what's your favorite ending in recent memory? You don't have to
Oh,
spoil the ending strictly, but listen, here at Indiepocalypse Radio, we encourage spoilers nonstop because how else do we discuss
okay.
media? How else can we discuss media like adults if we have to tiptoe
Yeah,
around
exactly.
spoilers?
um that's a little bit difficult because I watch really a lot of stuff,
Okay.
but I think that, well, I recently rewatched at the cinema Fallen Angels by Wong Kar-wai, who is a director from Hong Kong, and I think that one is probably one of the best endings I have ever seen because it's really uh, touching and powerful in how it is shot, how it is written, the music in the background. It's just perfect on every kind of level.
Well,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. Before we start getting into Wonkai Walk, because I wanted to that new release just came out from Criterion and it was not
Yeah.
available at my
Yeah.
local
That's.
at my local store. So I
Oh
fortunately
no.
I did not get it. I ended up getting what did I end up getting? I ended up getting um, it was two big packs. I got the Cassavetes collection and another
Oh yeah, that's great.
and I
Hmm.
got three colors. But
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, Kieslowski has been our main reference and master throughout all our development history. So I mean,
I have
I
I
particularly love the Three Colors trilogy.
I
So
am looking
it's
forward to it. I had not seen it yet, and
okay.
the only one I've seen the Cassavetes collection it was Killing of a Chinese Bookie, so I'm excited for both of
Okay.
those.
Yeah.
Um, and very looking forward to. But gotta find time to watch movies. But
Yeah. I mean, it's great. Yeah.
also, Fallen Angels is one of the ones that I had not seen. I having seen In the Mood for Love, and I listened, and
Hmm.
Chungking Express, and I started listening to the Cranberries a lot. That Cranberry song a lot after I watched
Yeah.
Chungking
I
Express,
feel that a lot. Yes.
especially that Cantonese. Anyway, great to have you. Before we start going down talking about movies,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. For me too. Thank you for having me.
You'll be back in like 40 minutes when we're done with everybody else. But in the meantime, we're gonna go to
Yeah.
break for like
Okay.
2.5 minutes, and then I'll be right back with our next guest. See ya, everybody.
I like old
Oh,
anime.
hey,
I like
nice try. We're back on the radio. Sorry,
Nice
I forgot to mention
try.
that. I forgot to mention that. We came in hot. Um, you're gonna be here later. Welcome back to Apocalypse Radio. That was They Might Be Giants with Anna Ang. Um, I the thing I like about They Might Be Giants is I think they are. I would say they of any band that I would say overall that I enjoy, they have the widest range of absolute bangers in songs that I absolutely cannot stand, and would hurl out a window, and burned from all existence. And like not even like ones off of like bad, canonically bad or mediocre albums. I mean like if you play Particle Man around me, get out of here. That song sucks.
What?
I
What?
hate Particle Man so much.
Triangle Man is coming for you.
No, no. Compared to something like Anna Ang, which is like such a good song, it has such a good like. I, what's the musical term? I think of it as the path the song takes, but I know there's a musical term for that. If it's a feeling that I can accurately describe. Fisher's here. Hello, Fisher.
Are you talking about the dynamics? Hello, of a song.
You've been here before. You were from Brickout was in issue 4 issue 4 of Indiepocalypse.
That
right?
sounds right. Yes, and I'm here to talk about Breakout 2.
Tell me about Brickout 2.
It doesn't exist yet, but it will exist.
Got to sequelize. Got to forever sequelize.
Yes. And for those who haven't played it, the idea of a sequel to a block-breaking game is kind of silly. But once you play it, you can understand.
Tell Arkanoid 2 that.
Yeah, oh, true. Very true. And there was a Breakout 2, but it was just the same. Arkanoid has a story.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Fisher. I disrespected Arkanoid. I meant Arkanoid Revenge of Doe.
Arkanoid has a story. It just sucks.
What if Arkanoid had a good story?
Yeah.
How dare you say this is the third most successful table arcade unit of the year in Japan, according to Game Machine.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're at the reading Wikipedia portion of the show.
Wow. Damn. I would say, so like, while Brickout was about very much like that era, where it was like late 70s, early 80s kind of vibe, Brickout 2, I'm trying to go 90s, trying to get more into that area of game history and aesthetic history. And that, of course, has led me to the 90s CGI. And, man, 90s CGI video game intros are, like, uniquely terrifying.
Yeah.
In this, I can't put my finger on it, because CGI movies from that time, like, most of them weren't this terrifying.
Which ones are we talking about?
Well, we're talking like Toy Story.
Toy Story. I would say Toy Story. Looking at the first Toy Story.
There are definitely scenes in the first Toy Story that are like, oh my god. Like, okay, most of the scenes with like Sid in the first Toy Story, where he's like burning off the. Yeah, okay. I mean, his face looks pretty bad up close.
People
for
talk
sure.
about. Wow, Toy Story looked good, but then like.
Yeah, right.
You people have not seen Toy Story. I went and looked at Toy Story recently. Yikes.
So the image on
CG
screen,
has come a long way.
Yeah. So the image on screen, that's from Civilization 3, which is a 2003 game. No, before that.
People should know this is. I think this art. It's weird that like this art, though, I would say is recognizable as Civilization, even if it's not just like old rulers.
Yeah, it's funny. Civ 3 is actually from 2001. So I say like early 2000s still counts for this frame of reference, because CG had like in games had still not really like gone super far. And that screen, that lose screen, so that's what shows up when you lose Civilization 3 and like single player, is all the rulers in the game mock you, but it comes up so suddenly. It's like dong, and this is the screen, and it's got these death masks all along the top, and everybody's mocking you, and all the faces look really creepy. And I remember playing when I was like, God, how old was I? Maybe 7 years old, and just like getting slammed in the face with that suddenly. And like at the time, all the games I pretty much played were like Command and Conquer, so it was like sudden horrible CGI faces in my face. It was like, that's too much.
Oh, so should I put away this Lincoln? Is he?
No, I love Lincoln. Nowadays, it's like whatever, I don't care. But like as a kid, it was just like so deeply scary. It's like this, and then I've been trying to find a good screen cap of the Dungeon Keeper 2 intro. But like Dungeon Keeper 2 has this intro that is like very like You know what? Fuck it. Here's an image. I'm gonna drop it to you, and you can put it up if you like. But Dungeon Keeper 2 is an RTS like dungeon builder kind of game. Um, it's pretty unique, but it has the CGI like intro and cutscenes, and they're very like well produced. But something about the design is like it's just a little too sharp and like I don't know, stabby. I don't know how to
No,
put it.
there's definitely like a look to that early, like rudimentary. Look at me, cropping things like a street pro now. That rudimentary CG. As a youth, as a slightly older youth, I spent a full night even, playing Civilization 2 on the PlayStation 1, having rented it.
Oh yeah.
A weird way to play that game, but I played a lot of it. I never played. I always look at Dungeon Keeper in magazines, and I thought it looked very cool, but I never played it because I did not have a personal computer
Uh,
that could
it
play
was
cool games.
cool games. Well, so at the time I had a PC, I could play cool games, but all I wanted was an Xbox.
Oh well.
All I wanted was to play Halo. Little did I know that Halo was available for PC, but whatever.
Oh, oh,
Cool.
to be young and a Master Chief.
To be young playing co-op Halo. Yeah. So the where I'm going with this is that the creepiness doesn't just follow with like creepy imagery like that, but it's
Yeah.
also like relatively normal imagery. Like I just sent you an image.
Yes, I know this
Uh,
guy.
you know that guy for real? That's awesome. Okay, so you know the Nancy Drew adventure games
Yeah,
are a classic
they're a true treat.
among adventure game fans. There are so many of them, and they're all, you know, point and click adventure games a la Myst with characters you can talk to, and the characters are usually full CGI, like animated with lip sync.
Yeah,
Um,
that's me now.
the stream right now. Yeah, all right, there it goes. And the stream was on delay, and it was just like Shorty was like peeking out from behind
He's
the
like, hello,
magazine cover.
hello there.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so that's Shorty. I don't want to spoil Secret of Shadow Ranch, but he's a major character in Secret of
Something with
Shadow Ranch.
horses. Hey there,
Something
Nancy.
with horses.
Hey there, hey there, Nancy.
Yeah,
I hear there's some horses, Nancy.
yeah. There's horses. Nancy goes.
Nancy, I hear there's a ghost horse.
Yeah, there's the ghost horse. Yeah. Anyway, I love Nancy Drew games. Recently, I've been streaming Nancy Drew games with my girlfriend, um, on her channel.
I watched a
Um,
lot of I similarly my experience with Nancy Drew is through video game live streams, as it were.
yeah.
I'm gonna find the best angle for this guy to hang out from
I,
from a popular one might know from a popular video game website, but um, anyway, here we go.
wait, what website?
Giantbomb.com.
Oh, oh, really? Giant Bomb did Nancy Drew streams? That's wild.
Yes, Abby Russell used to play a lot of them.
I had no idea.
They were real treats. I love adventure. I don't necessarily love playing them all the time, but I love watching adventure games being played.
Yeah, that's the thing about them is that when they're interestingly more fun to watch than actually play, um, and uh, that's true for a lot of them, except for I found like several really niche, well, not niche by today's standards, I would say, adventure games. Like there's one called Shivers, which was like it's like a major game. It's published by Sierra. It's like
Yeah.
that's a major game for the 90s. Had a sequel. It's called Shivers 2. Wow, what a surprise! Shivers 2: Harvest of Souls, which is a point-and-click adventure game. But it has also featuring it features. Have you ever seen what's Metal Jesus, the video game guy.
No.
He does like retro game reviews. He's like a collector. I think his name is like Metal Jesus Rocks or something on YouTube. Anyway, he's like a pretty big YouTube guy. He used to work for Sierra. He's actually in Shivers too, because it was like full motion video, and they just needed cast from around the office. So he's like a member. There's like a fictional rock band in the game, and he's like part of the band.
This
It's
is
kind of
not
funny.
this is not Shivers, but I thought for a second if you told me this was the cover of a game that Sierra put out, an FMV game that Sierra put out, I would believe you. This is a David Cronenberg movie.
Uh,
Shivers. But
that is pretty good. Yeah, Shivers 2. Shivers 2 has it's got like an abandoned town to explore, and there aren't any creepy people in the game per se,
yeah.
but the music and like art direction of that game is so surreal. It just goes like I can't tell if the game is trying to make a political statement about Americana or not, but I mean, if somebody told me like this was like Dali's warped dream of what America would look like post-apocalypse, I'd believe it. So
Yeah.
I recommend Shivers 2 is what I recommend.
Yeah, I recommend like finding a good adventure game person that you gel with, and
Yeah.
just watching them play a lot of adventure games because they're a real treat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're like kind of terrible. A lot of them are like kind of really terrible,
Oh yeah.
but like I have a lot of affection for Phantasmagoria too.
Me too.
Puzzle of the Flesh.
Puzzle of the Flesh, the
I
game that had one of the first games to have an unironic gay storyline.
Yeah, listen, I still maintain that Curtis Craig is the true bisexual icon in video games. He's just a dude in a gray shirt, you know? Just out here for all of us, living his best life. Yeah, that game is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of good and kind of bad.
Oh, it's trash. There's no getting around the fact that it's trash, but
I adore
it's
it.
enjoyable trash.
It's no like Tune Struck, you know?
Oh yes. Oh, very tune struck. Yeah.
You could be worse. You could be Tune Struck, which it is not.
Yes. There's tune struck. There's dazed and confused. I think it's called Dazed and Confused. There's a game called Dazed and Confused.
We've got our good pal here, Return to Zork.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot about the Zork. Yeah. Point and click games.
You don't remember anything about this nice gentleman offering you all a bunch of rye?
Yeah. I always figured like those Zork games would fit so well with like Harvester.
Oh,
You know.
Harvester has some slight problems with it, but
Yeah, just a few.
I mean, like metatextually speaking, but a couple major problems.
I'm always so surprised when so many popular YouTubers are like, and I'm gonna play Harvester, and I'm like, oh, so but you have like ad revenue you rely on, right? Like, I'm just like.
Oh, I'm not talking about the schlocky things. Whatever. I like schlocky gore or whatever. I have no issue with that. I enjoy Scanners and the wider works of David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
I'm into. I don't mind real like with everyone. I think like there's becomes a specificity to grossness that
Oh yes.
that I don't appreciate sometimes. But it's you gotta learn the hard way what your very specific thing that you hate is.
For me, it's like sound.
Okay.
If something like sounds way too like gushy, I'm like, nope, out, bye.
Yeah, I gotta key this guy out. Sorry, I'm getting too sidetracked working on the stream. I'm not a producer. I can't produce and talk at the same time, or produce and host. This is why you need a video producer, so somebody could come in and take this little want some rye guy, and then like trim out so he could sit on top of the Isaacson gif.
Yeah.
But
You know what? All right. To recenter on obscure adventure games because that's
yes,
what I'm so fixated on for the past like 7 years.
yes. Tell me about them.
Um, have you ever played The Dark Eye?
I don't think so.
So The Dark Eye is it's an Edgar Allan Poe, and there's a couple things called The Dark Eye that are also video games. So I'm gonna
Okay,
link you
yes.
specifically to the Wikipedia. Um, The Dark Eye is a it's a C. Actually, I
Oh
don't
wait,
think
I
it's
do know this.
CG.
I do know this game.
You do? Okay, that's great.
I
So The
never
Dark
played
Eye
it.
is
Never played it, but I am familiar with it.
yeah. So it's Edgar Allan Poe stories retold as a first-person point-and-click adventure experience. I hesitate to say game. It's not actually very gamey. It's really more just like clicking around to get to the next narrative point in the story. Um, but it has some of the like just the weirdest art. Um, and it's so old. It's sort of like 95. It's as old as me, you know.
Well, dude, don't dox yourself on stream, please.
Okay. As a dark guy, it's it's I don't know. It's just worth checking out. It's really hard to get playing on modern systems. I have never succeeded.
Yeah.
Um, but it's got the same vibe as another semi-obscure game called Bad Day on the Midway.
Okay. I
Um,
also know Bad Day.
you
Bad
do,
Day on the
yes.
Midway.
Awesome. A game
That
made
is
by
wait,
the
that's the
residents.
theme park one, right? Yeah, made with the
It is the
residents.
theme
Yes.
park one. It's a theme park game. It has the very unique feature um, of being you play as your character, but you don't have. I mean, you do have dialogue with people, but you also have an internal monologue, which is playing simultaneously at the bottom of the screen to everything that happens. So you always have the the uh, like trail of thought going on at the bottom of the screen. And I've loved that so much. I wanted to make I actually started working on a game where it's like you take a walk and you have thoughts, and that was the game, and like things you encounter influence what thoughts come up.
Yeah.
Um, but it never materialized.
As so many games do.
As so many games fail to materialize. Um, but I got too into like trying to like model out my hometown and like the walks I like to take. I tried to steal stuff from Google Maps, and it's really hard to steal stuff from Google Maps, is what I learned from an adventure.
So, speaking of an adventure, Fisher, we've been on quite an adventure here today with you and I.
Yes.
So before I go, now that we've reached the end of our time here, and really it goes by so quickly,
Sure.
you wouldn't even imagine. But we've been talking about adventure games. We said they're kind of. Do you remember what's the last adventure game that you played through there? You're like, oh, this game is like good though. Not with no kind of like irony or kind of pretentious navel gazingness of it.
The last adventure game that I played that was like honestly like affectingly good.
And I'm gonna say you gotta point and click things.
You must point and click. Those are the rules. I
Or unless it's like a 3D analog in which you're basically pointing and clicking, but like with
oh okay.
with your face.
Oh, it's hard to say. I could be like I played Nancy Drew, but actually I've been playing Siberia 3.
Okay.
I've been enjoying Siberia 3. It had a really rough launch because it's like a modern 3D kind of game, and the studio had not really worked on modern 3D games before that.
Yeah.
So it had some technical issues, shall we say, but I've always really appreciated Siberia's attention. Siberia spelled Syberia.
Yes.
Attention to detail with mechanical structures and the like very European, like ostentatious vibe mixed with like grime and age and entropy. It's very alluring. So I recommend Siberia, the series.
And I would say also to leave you with a recommendation, much like I did with films prior. I would say if you want to get into adventure games like in earnest and just like play them yourself, I think the first Broken Sword is like very good.
Oh yeah, that's a
And
great
like
one.
and like a very good entry point. There's like I think there's a tricky puzzle at the very beginning, but it's
Well,
like
that's par for the course.
I think it's mostly like an effective story told well with good animation. It looks
Yeah.
good, sounds good. I think it's been like updated to make it look nicer and everything too.
Yes,
Like higher res.
I think it even has a mobile port.
I've played it on the GBA once.
There's
Uh,
an anti-Drew game for Game Boy Advance.
ooh,
It's a full 1-to-1 port.
listen, what a word. Listen, I gotta. People need to pay me more money so I can do like more historian type stuff. Because the GPA sucks, but I think it's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I downloaded like the whole library, or I found that I had the whole library in like my garage. I was playing through all the games. I'm like, wow, like most of these games suck. What a trash console. But
So just so many licensed games that
yeah,
died in the darkness.
it has this really weird talk about uncanny, bizarre 3D. The GBA has a ton of it.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
I think the Sims are like the most emblematic of like that awkward 3D. But whatever, we're getting out of here. We'll be back in. Shit doesn't say how long the song. Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong. I'm gonna switch to the wrong media source. We'll be back in like 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Fisher, thank you for being here.
Of course.
And
I'll
goodbye.
talk to you later.
Yes. Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was the new pornographers with the laws have changed. So we are here with our next guest, another returning guest. In fact, I think the most returningest guest so far. If I'm correct, this is second or third.
Yeah, this is my third time on the show.
Third time,
and
wow.
like
Indiepocalypse Radio's honorary PFT. So, important question, burning question that I need a K-On! Expert in the room.
Oh no.
If there are any K-On! Experts in the room, I need them to speak up. So in that video, which is a strange one anyway, because it's like they're telling a story and they're putting their own subtitles on it, which is kind of weird and neat, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But so in the video, the main K-On!, I think her name is Yui, right?
Yeah, the brown hair one, right?
Yes. I don't know if
That's all I know about K-On!
I don't know if she's a lead K-On!, but so in it, she refers to the New Pornographers as an American band when they are quite famously a Canadian supergroup.
Damn, really?
So,
like, I saw the New Pornographers in the subtitles, and I was like, that doesn't seem like a K-On! Thing. But I never would have thought that.
So, yeah, because they had fun with it and they made their own story.
Oh, damn.
So I needed to know if there were any K-On! Experts to know if that was a mistake of the author or if that was in character to misidentify them as being an American band.
I wouldn't know, but if it was the author, that's pretty cool, actually.
If
Like,
that-
just well, not the mistake,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah.
like, the whole idea of AMVs as fanfic. All right,
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's what that one was. That was an AMV as a fanfic, a very loose fanfic, because the fan fiction was, hey, what if the K-On! Girls put on a concert where they played a New Pornographer song?
Damn, man, I might have to rewatch that AMV because I was too busy like prepping my notes. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, you have notes?
Oh my god. I do have notes actually.
Okay, so what were your topic? What did you have prepared? I'm
Oh,
ready
it's just
to go.
the first thing I was just gonna introduce myself because
Oh, right,
introduction.
introduce you.
All good.
I thought you were old hat by this point. You were also in issue 4 was your introduction, but
Yeah, it was. It was.
But because that was the issue 4 squad that you and Fisher won originally with cover artist Joe Witt and Chris Mayer, no relation to issue 4. But
yeah, I remember that episode. Fun episode.
that was the longin'. That one I think extended well beyond the recording session. But anyway.
I remember like wanting to talk more at the end too,
Yeah.
and you were just like, "Oh, we're out of time," and I'm like, "Oh no, I want to talk about musicals." But yeah, I've been on the show a couple times, and I've been in Indiepocalypse a couple times.
Yes.
Luckily, as a game dev, zine maker, comic artist, and a capsule reviewer, I did one.
A triple threat, a quadruple threat.
Yeah.
An Indiepocalypse EGOT.
Oh my god, yeah. I thought you said e-god for a second, like the e-girl who's a god. And I was just like, yeah, that's me. But yeah, the last thing I did, I should. That should be my new display name on Twitter, e-god. I'm writing that down.
Okay.
So yeah, the last thing I contributed to Indiepocalypse was the little zine, if you remember.
I do remember.
Yeah, the poetry zine.
Yes.
And that was a fun time. I like how Indiepocalypse, like, I guess it helps that I kind of got to know you throughout the whole like time I've been working with you guys.
Yeah.
But like I like how niche it is that I can just put in my thinly veiled fanfic, which is about OCD and psychosis.
Yeah. Also, it's an art thing, and it's, some people get that it's like, hey, just submit stuff you like. And when people talk about nepotism, it's how it works, People just it's nepotism is 90% friendship or whatever, casual business friendship.
I feel like at least in my experiences with jobs, it's kind of like, oh, I know this person, and then other people are just like, oh, it's nepotism. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the power of friendship right there. Yeah. But no, not that I condone nepotism, anyways.
No, but it's more complicated than like it's when someone's like clearly unqualified, and they're just like only getting a job, and then they're probably not even doing the job.
That is true, yeah.
I think sometimes people are like, well, or they'll throw up like a disclaimer. It's like, I am familiar with this, but we're not covering it because I know them. And it's like, yes, you are, but it's not. You're not covering it only because you know them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's a good distinction to make.
Yeah, but it's like, if I know this person and I know their work, of course I'm going to pay more attention to it naturally. So.
Oh, that makes me feel so special now. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I just really like Indiepocalypse, and I noticed that you guys featured Hit Me recently.
Yes.
The game, not like the concept of hitting me.
No, we don't. I think I did actually encourage the concept of fist fighting my guests last episode.
Did you? Oh, I didn't catch that one.
I believe so. I think I suggested I might, but I'm not a fist fighter.
At TCAF, we can fist fight. Except though, actually, I'm tiny, so.
I'm not large. I'm of extremely average size.
I'm of extremely, slightly under average size. I'm small and short, and people think I'm 12, but it's okay. I'm not. No, but yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, being born in the world of masculinity has meant that people assume that I'm tall, and people the same size as me will be like, "Can you get that for me?" And I'm like, "Lady, you and I are like the same height. Don't let the patriarchy get you down because you think that I'm taller than you inherently." But it's a really bizarre experience that I've noticed. It happens. It comes up sometimes.
Especially if you're exactly the same height.
Yeah,
I imagine.
I've had people who I think are like mildly, like maybe half an inch taller than me, asking me to get things. I'm like, what? And then I just climb up something to get that. Like, I wasn't that tall. I'm not that tall.
At least you have the willpower to do it.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Now you were saying.
But yeah. Oh yeah, Hit Me. By I'm not sure how to pronounce their name. Shiri.
Shiri, that's what I would assume.
Ziri. Okay. Yeah. I love that game. I played it I played it in the Queer Games bundle that Taylor was organizing.
Yes.
And it's just a killer game. Like, if anyone is like on the stream listening, it's a really good game. It's about kind of like a visual novel where there's a person visiting Chile, like the city of Santiago, and they find these two dudes that they just start chilling with, and it's very good, very gay, and it's just a good time. Like I feel like that game is very poignant. How do you say it? Poignant. Poignant.
Yeah.
And it just captures like this very specific feeling, like a very warm feeling, where like you're at your friend's house and they're like cooking for you, and it feels like so safe and cozy, even though like in the game bad stuff does happen.
Yeah.
Like it's called Hit Me, and like it does start with the protagonist being like walking up to these guys and being like, "Hey guys, hit me," and they do. But it's such a good game. I love it a lot.
Yeah, I think you can get like, I think cozy gets kind of flattened sometimes into like being meaning like without conflict and that kind of thing. Also, I'm putting it up now, but like the zine page for that Hit Me is like the art in that game is exceptional. I love it.
It is.
And the zine
Me
page
too.
is also truly amazing.
Yeah, I love how it's like it's such a small difference from like it's a little GIF as the cover art, and oh my god, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. It's so. They will be. Siri will be on the show next week, even.
Ooh, I'm gonna tune in.
Tune in 2 p.m. Eastern time. They will be here.
Yeah, it's a great game. Can't recommend it enough. And yeah, like I feel like cozy. Maybe you think of cozy and you think of like the little box of the Sleepy Time tea where there's like a bear sleeping with a tea beside him. I don't know, but like it's a very kind of, if you do cozy right, it can evoke very specific memories.
Yes.
Like when I played this game, I was transported like to like a friend's living room where like it's like super nice and like, you know, it like I can't even explain it because it's like such a personal thing, but like it's powerful. And it's something that I haven't seen in like any other media since I played Hit Me, I think, and I haven't seen it before.
That is,
if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Like when I was fairly recently, I was thinking about art and what art
as one does
to me, and I kind of like reached the idea that like true like art in like the way that I want to reaches me in that very specific way, like you said, like this kind of like indescribable personal feeling, where it's like, well, I don't know what this feels like. I think it's very easy to make sad art or make happy art, you know, but it's very complicated and difficult to make art that, like you said, makes it feel like you're at your friend's house.
Yeah. And like I think
like your friend's house, not just your friend's house, like capital Y, your friend's house.
Yeah, like it takes you to a specific place in time and space, and you know which friend it is. Like it's such a specific feeling. And I think like I agree with you. That is kind of like what art is to me as well. At least one of the things that art can be, that it just evokes this kind of feeling for you that's like directly from your life. Like I felt like that. I like I'm a cinema studies major now. Like I was doing professional writing, but now I'm a cinema studies major. And there was a class I took recently where we watched a lot of like experimental film. And there's this one, I think it was made by a Canadian, maybe Michael Snow, but don't quote me on that, called Spectrum, I think, probably. I don't remember shit. And like it's about this, it's like the camera doesn't move. It's like a fixed camera that just is recording a room. And like stuff happens, like there's a break-in, people come in, like, and there's just like a lot of grating noise and like different colors in the scene. But when my class was talking about it, we were discussing it, and I was like, there's something about this movie that really draws me, that I find really like evocative. And I was thinking about it, and then I realized it's the camera placement, because it reminds me of like if you've ever experienced like a psychotic episode, like there's kind of like certain feelings where like you're in absolute stasis, like you do not move.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is why it makes me so uncomfortable, but also why I kind of like the movie, because it captures that kind of very like that feeling that you don't see in anything else, because you're not going to see that in a Hollywood movie. You're not going to see that. Like I'm a big MCU fan, unfortunately. Like I'm not a fan. Like I don't want to like out myself.
Oh,
but
no. I would never out would never force someone to out themselves as an MCU fan.
Yeah, and I wouldn't either, which is why I'm shocked that I'm doing it. But like, if you see like shows like even Loki, Black, what was it called? Black Widow, like even though that one was okay, I'm not here to talk about MCU, but like these kind of like movies and media are made to like appeal to the mass audiences. And I know that we've talked about this before, but like for a movie like Spectrum, if that's what it was called, or Hit Me.
Might be called Wavelength.
Wavelength, that's the one. Yeah. I can't believe I messed it up. Maybe there was another one called Spectrum. And
it's all in the same idea.
Yeah, kind of same concept.
The words have the same mouthfeel to them.
Yeah. For Wavelength to kind of evoke that very specific feeling, I thought was absolutely killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as someone who has seen an MCU film or two myself.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think the last one I saw was Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I was told this is one of the good ones, and I was like, it's the same as all the other ones.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, right?
Yeah. I like that part where he tells him to do a flip, but otherwise it's basically the same as the other movies. I don't see... Anyway, we're not here to be cinema snobs and, kick you in the dirt for liking potato chips. But...
No, I kind of do agree, though, because Spider-Man not Far From Home, Homecoming, yeah. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was just like, wait, is that the one where the girlfriend is evil? Did that happen? Like... I can't remember a single thing that happens in that movie.
Was she an evil version of Spider-Man?
No. I think her dad was evil or something. It's forgettable. The villains are so forgettable sometimes in MCU movies.
Well, that's because, listen, if we can talk about Marvel for a moment.
Oh, yeah, let's go for it.
Disrespect AMV night. There are 3 good Marvel villains, I think.
Yeah.
And Marvel Cinema had no rights to use any of them because they are Doctor Doom... They are Galactus and they are Magneto. And the rest, throw them in the trash. I don't care about them.
None of them were in the MCU yet, though.
No, because they were all owned by like Fox or Sony had all the rights to those.
Oh, yeah. Like Doctor Doom, like I would be kind of worried if MCU adapted Doctor Doom. Okay, I feel like.
Maybe, here's my Andrew's greater Marvel Cinematic Universe theory.
Yeah.
The point of Doctor Doom is he's the bombastic supervillain who's like, true, I'm mustache twirling, my name is Victor Von Doom, I have a metal face, I hate this one guy I went to college with. And then Galactus is your massive, gigantic threat. We are like, the world is under, the whole universe is in peril because Galactus eats planets. And Magneto's the sympathetic one where, hey, this guy's actually right about everything, but he's a bad guy, I guess, or something.
Yeah. For a second I thought you were going to talk about MCU villains, and I was expecting to say like Killmonger or something, who I think has that kind of similar thing. Jordan,
but like,
I think Black Panther was a great movie.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, Killmonger was one of the better villains, like definitely. Because I don't even remember what the dad from the evil villain from frickin' Spider-Man Homecoming looked like. That was Michael Keaton?
I think it was Michael Keaton.
Okay, well.
Because I thought it was very funny. Yes, it was, because I thought it was very funny because he played the Vulture, and that was after he did Birdman.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was the villain.
Because I thought it was very, because like Birdman is like this superhero movie suck kind of thing. I can't believe we're all trapped in it. It was very funny that Michael Keaton was playing it. And then he got sucked back in. Like the Marvel Cinematic Universe comes for us all one day.
Oh my lord! He was in Batman too, right?
Yeah, because he was the second to Batman.
Oh, Jesus. I remember reading the screenplay for Birdman, and then I didn't watch the movie. I have no idea why. I was crazy back then.
that is like a very weird way to go about things.
Right? Like, I read the screenplay on the bus, because I was fucking weird in the first year. Anyways, I actually did have something to say about what we were talking about, self-indulgence, very specific feelings.
Yes.
So like one of my projects this summer, because like I'm on summer break and like, you know, trying to relax and shit.
Must be nice.
Like I'm gonna miss it when I graduate.
Yeah.
And so like I was on Twitter, as one does.
Yeah.
And like some person was like, they made a quote bot for like a bunch of quotes that they really liked, and like they were just like, yeah, this is kind of cringe, be nice about it. And like they had like, I think 2,000 followers or something. They had a decent number of followers.
Yeah.
And like they were just like, yeah, this, like some of these quotes come from like fan fiction or like movies or songs. And I was like, damn, that's you're putting yourself out there, but I kind of want to do that. So I ended up doing that. And I'm not going to drop the handle because I don't want to out myself for like the 80th time on this show, which I've done a couple times.
One can only expose their ass so many times on the internet.
Exactly.
Within a 20-minute time period.
Before it bites me in the ass like an hour from now. Anyways. So I ended up making this quote bot, and it has like my favorite quotes from like freaking everything, like video games, like essays, movies, mountain goats quotes, and like fanfic too. And I'm like looking at all this, and I'm just like, you know, this is kind of like inherently embarrassing to have this thing up on the internet, but at the same time, it's like that's self-indulgence. That's what I'm here on this earth for. I think.
Yes.
Like, right? Because like, if you're not gonna make stuff that you like and that you have a vested interest in, like, why make anything? That's my question.
Right. It's like the immortal bard once said, "The cringe is to live."
Yeah, I remember that image. I was just like, do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part that cringes. And that's how I live. Anyways, sorry.
Listen, I'm out here hosting an AMV night once a month.
No, see, that's Andrew. This is why I respect you. Like, this is why I love Indiepocalypse, because it does that kind of stuff. And like, I don't know, I just think it's cool.
Yeah, I like being. Listen, I feel like I've said once again, once you're into like 37 episodes of this show, you realize how little a single person can repeat or say without repeating themselves. But I enjoy sincerity, but I also enjoy peak irony, and I think the two can coexist. I think those two wolves can live inside of you all your life. One of them loves the room. One of them loves a still shot of a room for 45 minutes.
Damn, that's so deep though. No, sorry, I was shocked. But yeah, that's true.
If I find myself on a Twitter bot, I will know.
No, okay, listen.
No, Bianca, I'm holding you to that.
No, don't worry. I'm not putting you on a Twitter bot. Don't worry.
Thank you, God, for that. I remember when I realized that I knew the person who did the Eva bot, and I'm like, that's weird. The New Yorker one.
Eva bot.
Never mind.
What is that?
What was that? You went away for a moment.
Oh, I said, what's Eva bot?
There's a bot that does New Yorker quotes, but over Eva screenshots. Evangelion.
Oh, okay. I thought they were on the New Yorker. I was like, wow, that's pretty out there for the New Yorker.
And I kept seeing it, and I clicked. I'm like, oh wait, I know the person who made that.
Damn, that's
they
crazy.
Were a. It's in the Twitter bio. Why am I pretending? I'm over here missing words. Like I'm pretending like they're not like a public figure, but it always feels weird to drop people's names here and there, you know? Oh,
true. Even when I mention someone on, say, Indiepocalypse Radio, I'm just like, oh man, should I have done that?
Yeah, right. I will say that they were a fixture, and maybe perhaps still are a fixture of the Toronto game scene.
Oh, I'm not that, but
connected.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not that connected at all.
Neither. I'm not very connected either.
Excuse me, you're running Indiepocalypse,
yes.
which is like a whole connection network. But okay, all right.
I guess to my local scene.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fair.
I created. I dubbed my international indie man of indie mystery or something. I don't remember what I called myself at one point.
No one is a prophet in their own land.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Mm.
I'm a man of the country, of every country that is the world country.
Oh my lord, that's evocative.
Oh, thank you. I think a lot. I have like I've been trying to use Twitter more because I have to, as you mentioned, having these connections. And like I realize I need to build a stronger community to some extent, despite not wanting to be one of those community head person people, you know.
Hmm.
So I've been
I
trying to.
feel I feel like the Indiepocalypse community, and I could be totally wrong about this, is kind of coming together though.
Yeah,
Like outside of just the zine bundle, like I don't know.
I think in the apocalypse, the community up to this point has everyone been just like sort of aware of each other. Like I see everyone like playing indie apocalypse games, and it's like I wonder if these people are finding each other through the zine, and I assume that they are.
Yeah, like yeah.
And then I was like,
Wait, sorry, I'm arranging my thoughts. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. And so I was like, but I need to like do a little bit more work. Mostly it was the pledge drive got me thinking about that I need to put in a little bit more work so that people will show up to the stream and give me money. And to do that,
Hmm.
you need to build more personal investment in myself. It's got to me to thinking about tweets and like, well, I gotta post tweets, and it's like, I don't know, be funny or something or entertain. How do you go viral when all your thoughts are like, how can I make this line from losing my edge, but make it about the Net Your Rose? The
The what?
Net Your Rose was the console. It was the developer console for the
Oh,
PlayStation 1. There's a line in Losing My Edge where he talks about how
oh, okay.
you're buying a synthesizer, an arpeggiator. You're throwing your computer out the window because you want to make something real. You want to make a Yaz record, and I'm like, I think I finally nailed. My white whale was like what the game company was, because you're buying a CRT and a Net Your Rose and you're throwing your computer out the window because you want to make something real.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't have a developer. But I think ArtDink might be it. I think it might be ArtDink is the right one I'm looking for. Of
Wow.
Mr. Domino fame and that fellow who can't be stopped. That is. I had a thought here that I was going somewhere, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, whatever.
I know
Oh,
what a PlayStation 1 is at least.
it's yeah. It was like a gray box. You would pop open the top. You would put a disc in. It was
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of those. I've heard of those.
Final Fantasy VII was on it.
Yeah, I remember because when they came out with the mini console, it was there, and I was like, I should buy that, and then I didn't. I got it on Switch.
Cloud, he was there. He was like, "I'm not your friend,"
You
and they're
said
like,
that?
"Yeah." He's like,
Sorry.
Cloud's like, "I'm not friends with anybody," and then he was friends with people.
Yeah, I only got so far into Final Fantasy VII, the original.
Yeah.
But like I know people who are like heavy into Final Fantasy VII, and I'm like, oh wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about evocative moments.
Yes.
There's that one part in freaking Final Fantasy VII where Cloud is like dissociating and like his little like ghost self like
Yeah.
distances itself from his body and the honeybee in. That shit was powerful.
Yeah, and like it's actually like a very cool technique in how they do it. Like, because I feel like occasionally like it stutters in and out sometimes, and it's like very neat after image effect because it happens multiple times. Cloud, so I think I played through what's it called, that game for the PlayStation Portable with Zack in it.
Oh, that's not Dirge
Crisis Core.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
And I think I kind of developed what might be a somewhat larger respect for Final Fantasy VII because I played it when I was like 12 or whatever. And it's harder to connect with. Sometimes 12-year-olds don't connect with deeper themes and meanings, you know?
That is true. That is definitely true. But like, I feel like there's some games that if I try to engage with them for the first time now, as a 23-year-old, like I wouldn't feel it as much as I did when I was like 11 or like 10.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was me with Golden Sun. Where I was like, this game sucks.
Mm-hmm. We have like a soft spot for it.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I would have been, yeah, this is cool, it's fun. The writing isn't really rote and boring.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
But there are some games that are just good, and you
Yes.
happen to play them when you were a kid. Like that's me with The World Ends With You,
Right.
which I played when I was like 14 or something.
Oh, those halcyon long gone days of 14.
Being 14. Well, there were some good things about that.
No, yes.
Chewy was one of them.
There were some bad things about that. The rest of life. Anyhow, we're gonna close this small segment down and bring it back up in like a little bit. I gotta go back to studio mode and bring it back up with our final group segments. Gotta make sure I switched to the right song. Oh, I did. In the meantime, before we go, Bianca, I gotta ask you, what's your favorite Linkin Park song?
Okay. I'm gonna be basic.
Yeah.
I kind of do really like Points of Authority. Like as like I don't know if that's basic actually. That's not.
Well, I got good news for you then, Bianca.
Oh, I think I know what's coming up. Okay, I was gonna say another song too, but it's okay. We'll just end there. Points of Authority.
In 3 minutes and 20 seconds. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Points of Authority by Linkin Park. Folks, I am realizing that we are... At first, I was like, when I was first started AMV Night, I was like, maybe Linkin Park actually whips. And now I'm like, I think I'm reaching the end of the Linkin Park I can tolerate. I think they have like... I think the Linkin Park thing is like, if you compare them to other nu metal bands, they're like way more interesting musically than like, say, a Limp Bizkit or a Korn. They've got like way more going on because of like the whole hip hop angle to it, and like the kind of like remixing of it. But anyway, Linkin Park.
I still kind of dig Limp Bizkit though.
I don't know if I could go back.
Like, I don't know if you've seen my Discord profile picture, but it's that girl from Dungeon Meshi with a Limp Bizkit shirt.
I did not see what her shirt was.
Me neither.
That's what it is. Oh, it's tiny on Discord. Yeah. But I don't know. I kind of like Limp Bizkit. I heard it. My dad showed it to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just like the big songs, but something about, break stuff that just hits.
Something about rolling and rolling still.
Yeah, something about rolling.
I will not. The only thing I will not allow is their cover of Faith is very bad.
By George Michael?
Yeah, they cover Faith by George Michael, and I think their cover is very bad.
That sounds hilarious.
It's
I don't
but also musical criminality. But
didn't they cover it? They covered a song about no one knows what it's like to be the sad man.
Yes, Behind
and
Blue
it was
Eyes.
in. Yeah, that was them, right?
Yeah, that was a Who song originally.
Yeah, and it was in the Angry Birds movie. And I heard that. I was like, is that a biscuit? And I was, oh god. It just kills me.
They used it unironically? Or like
I don't know how ironic you can get in the Angry Birds movie, but I feel like
what I said after I was saying it.
But I feel like it was kind of like a sarcastic kind of use, if that's what you mean, yeah.
Okay. I when I'm out and about, and sometimes like Muzak channels will play All Star, and I'll wait for the punchline that never comes.
Like in public, like in stores.
Yeah, like in stores, like in your supermarkets. They'll
start playing
Smash Mouth All Stars, and I'm waiting for there to be like a joke, like this is somebody's TikTok. And I'm waiting for the punchline, and like, no, this isn't a joke. I'm in a supermarket.
Yeah, like I've heard, not in Canada, but in Peru, like I've heard restaurants playing the Friends theme song.
Yep,
and I was like,
really?
Have you ever heard that? Like, it's such a weird experience. I'm just like, is someone gonna jump out at me like any minute now?
I have heard those, and I have also like no affection, no experience, I know nothing about French at all.
The show.
The show, correct. The
Yeah,
concept,
yeah.
the concept,
Just kidding,
the concept
sorry.
I'm vaguely familiar with. I've heard about it before.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Listen, I've maybe talked about this last episode, but I realized that sometimes that I connect too much with. Have either of you read Ikoku Nikki? It's not released in the
No.
West. I really enjoy it, but so never
Who's it
mind.
by?
I don't remember the author, but
Mm.
it's very good. It's about a woman who adopts her niece because of tragedy, but she's like, it's a well written story about like adults and who are like just still regular people. And there's a particular experience where she's like her niece's friend is over and she doesn't want to leave or she leaves her room and there's like another person in her house and she's upset by it. Of like
Damn.
personal space. Anyway, what I'm saying is friends are good, but I like myself sometimes. Anywho. Oh no, I can hear myself. Is someone too close to their microphone?
Oh, let me see. I'll turn down my volume a bit, but I think it's good.
Okay. Anyway, that was a sec. I realized that I can trick people to talking to things, but I can use my Discord. I can use my Discord for that. It's like if
That kind of reminds me. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. What you were talking about kind of reminds me of it's a good anime, but a bad manga. Bunny Drop. If you've seen it.
Yes, I know why you're saying that.
I don't.
Be-
What? No, sorry.
No worries. Bunny Drop is like well, the anime is about like Andrew, how do you explain Bunny Drop?
Bunny Drop is like, Yotsuba? What if Yotsuba was maybe a goddamn creep? How about that?
Yeah, if you've seen Yotsuba.
Or Reddit.
Reddit. But like it's like about this guy and his grandfather or his dad, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like he dies and turns out he has a daughter, the grandfather or the uncle or whatever.
Oh no, that makes it even worse. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. No, they're not blood related, but it's a very sweet kind of show until you get to that part in the manga where like it turns out that let's stop talking about Bunny Drop. Let's stop talking about it.
We should. Why would someone do that? Why would?
I know who would have done that. Shame on them.
It's a true crime. It's a good thing that people have a tag. I like Dynasty's aggressive tagging because I know right ahead when I don't want to read something. It would have that.
Yeah, it's a good system to have in place.
Because that's also like, as someone who jokes around about, let's say, just reading things online that you may or may not own, I also purchase a lot of stuff. If you're out there and you like comics, purchase them. Support creators. It's important. I feel like I don't need to say to support creators, but I'm a weird guy who reads scans and then buys the things he already read.
Oh, I do that too. I feel bad about it sometimes.
Me too.
Yeah, right? Because you need that physical copy in your hands.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there are bonuses.
Oh, true.
I am holding out. I am wishfully dreaming of the day when we get like Daydream Hour in English. I love it immensely.
Is that a manga?
That's the if you're Dungeon Meshi,
Oh yeah.
That's her side book she does every now and then. They're just like sketches and like character studies.
Oh,
But is it related to Dungeon Meshi or is it just like independent?
No, it's like kind of related. I think sometimes there are like little mini comics in it.
Oh, okay.
But they're like it's like if you want to understand how someone like so thoroughly understands their characters like through and through, they're very good reads. And also you get this is a very good thing. I enjoy this picture. This is from the most recent one. I'm throwing it up on the stream. Now that I've turned this into unofficial Dungeon Meshi cache. As I'm it's probably my favorite ongoing kind of like popular thing. And she's
Ooh,
like,
wait. It just popped up for
yeah.
me.
So you get all these like here's all the characters like in summer clothes. It's like, hey, how they all doing? I'm a big fan of this elf down here with his weed patch. Because it's not I feel like I have issues a lot with like the portrayal of countries that don't speak English within the English speaking world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And how people sort of flatten them to be like the most sanitary thing there is. And it kind of bugs me. But I think that happens a lot with Japan and like East Asia in general because of nerds and K-pop. And they're like, no, Japan doesn't have weed culture. It's like, listen, bro, everything's got weed culture. Everything's got every kind of culture. Your world is not like, I don't know, Goku. It's like people would be like, there's no discrimination in Japan. Goku wouldn't allow it.
Oh, Lord.
That's what it feels like a lot of
cool.
the time. I'm just going to leave this guy up here. I'm a big fan of this guy right here.
Wait, let me see which guy you're closing. Oh, Elias. I don't know how to say his name.
I think that's close enough.
Sweet.
I could talk forever about how much I love the designs in this manga, like so intensely.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And
I have.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm looking at my 3 issues of Dungeon Meshi right now on my bookshelf. I never finished it, but like I read the concept when the first issue was still being published, and I was just like, damn, I gotta read that. Gotta read that shit.
It gets like so much better. And I'd
can
not to
imagine.
say that's bad, but like, you know, like anything that like gets to start kind of like breathe a little and like develop its characters and kind of live in its world. It's how I got a lot of recommendations. It's how I eventually came across the famous manga Twitter account Minovsky article.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Because I kept saying like I kept looking into Google. I'm like, how gay is this elf? I can't tell. Is it just me? Or and he kept his the only response was his Twitter account. So I'm like, maybe I should follow this guy who's thinking the same things as me, but I can't tell because I don't have the cultural touchstones, you know. But anyway,
I think I also heard about. Oh, sorry.
No, you can continue.
Okay, sorry. I also heard about Dungeon Meshi through Minovsky, his Twitter account.
It's got a lot of good manga recs if you're looking for him.
Yeah, he really does. And like movie recs too.
Yeah. General good people too. Follow online for recommendations. An early Columbo head in the era of Columbo coming back into style. But anyway, where was I going? Anyway, I wasn't going anywhere. I'm sorry. I'm looking at pictures of elves and getting distracted. But yes, anyone have any pressing matters to attend to that they want to say? Any they're thinking of? Any questions? Any statements? Any pleas to the ether?
Any pleas to the ether? Nah, I'm just thinking about elves now.
Yeah, I am too.
Can't go wrong with a good elf.
No, you can't. They're like there's so many more elves that come in later. There's like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, like I don't recognize. Like I recognize him from like fan art and stuff, but I don't know who your icon is on the little Twitch stream.
That is one of the elves.
Yeah, I figured.
That comes in later, but not to spoil the elves. It's gotta gotta do one more. There's a lot of This is a very thirsty manga. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of hot dads and stuff in here, you know.
Yep.
But kind of, if no one has anything to say before I start just like rambling about manga and comics, I have a. Now that boat, after that boat got unstuck, I feel like I got a lot of comics back, and I got a very large backlog now of like way too much stuff because I can't. Nothing goes on my shelf unless I finish it. It's my rule.
Oh, speaking of which, I just thought of a question for the Ether.
Yes.
Well, Ether being this Discord call.
Yeah.
What have you guys been reading lately, manga-wise, or comics-wise?
Uh,
Or the last thing you read.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, I tried reading Boys Abyss. I don't know if you have heard of it or
Yeah,
not.
the one based on the movie, right? Or did it come before?
No, I don't know if it's based on a movie, but it seems more, I don't know, Oyasumi Punpun inspired. I don't know how
Oh,
familiar
okay.
you are with that with that one.
I've heard things.
What a beautiful inspiration point.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been reading that one, but it tries a little too hard on being serious and for adults. I mean, Boys Abyss, not Oyasumi Punpun. Oyasumi Punpun is a pretty good one. And yeah, that's it.
It's called Boys a Beast?
Abyss.
Boys Abyss.
Boys Abyss. I thought you were saying Boy and
Boys
the
and the
Beast.
Beast.
And I was like, oh, that's that movie by Mamoru Hosoda, my favorite director. Boys Abyss. Okay, that's very different, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the images now, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's very different.
The art is good,
Mm-hmm.
but really the story is kind of a mess after a while. I mean, it really gets too much. I don't know what word I can use.
Disturbing, maybe.
No, it really tries too much.
I was going to say try hard. I don't know if that translates though.
It tries hard, but it doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think in English, the term, at least in American English, the term try hard, I think covers the idea of trying too hard and not succeeding.
Yeah. So,
like too edgy.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yes. So at one point it becomes something like a telenovelas. But really,
I know what you mean.
You can help but laughing at everything that happens because it's so much too much that you can just help doing anything else. So yeah.
Have you read anything by I imagine you probably have, but Shuzo Oshimi?
Yeah. Lately I've read Happiness.
Yeah, because I think he does that vibe just like even better than like Asano generally does. I think he's better at I think he cares more about his characters. If that makes
yeah, that's true.
He feels more empathetic.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that in his work. I think I've read everything that they've released into English so far. Inside Mari, I think was the only manga I ever read on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
I haven't read anything on Crunchyroll yet.
No,
I think you're mostly fine. I've read one thing.
Shuzo Oshimi.
The only issue I have with Oshimi, but really I haven't read that much of him, is the I don't know how to call it. I think it's something like Shinji Ikari complex.
Okay.
That some of the main characters have. But really, I still have to read more from him. So I don't know. That's something that I felt while reading Happiness. I really couldn't appreciate too much the main character. So that was the only issue I had with it. But in terms of writing, I really do agree with you. Yeah, I think he really loves his characters in respect of Asano,
like,
who
he wants
probably
he wants them
doesn't
to
care
get
that
better at
much.
he wants them to get better at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to
Oh,
become
he wrote Flowers of Evil. I've
yeah.
heard of that one. I haven't
Yep.
read it, but
I've actually watched the anime of
Mhm.
that one, and it's well, for me it was really a beautiful, beautiful anime. Yep.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I read about it right now is that it was rotoscoped, apparently.
Yep. Yes. And that's the main reason why it doesn't have an ending, because people didn't
Oh,
enjoy the
well,
technique.
well, that's too bad.
I
I mean, like, I'm
yeah.
sorry, Andrew, keep finishing.
No, no, no.
Interrupting you.
No, continue.
I was, I was just gonna say, I'm all for different animation styles, like in anime. Like, I know, like, anime isn't like a monolith,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
like things like Ping Pong, the animation.
Yeah.
You
Oh
guys, I
yeah.
feel like that's a great anime. I
I was
haven't read the manga, but
Yeah.
I love that anime.
Yeah, I was actually the first thing I was gonna say was Kaiba,
Oh,
Oh,
that one is
Kaiba.
great too. Yes.
which is
I haven't seen it yet.
I went a long time even as like an early Science Saru head myself,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
like jumping in around like what's it called? The no, I wanted to call it Drifting Classroom, but that is not right.
No,
It's 100% not the Drifting
definitely
Classroom.
not.
But it's God, how did I forget the name of it? Tatami Galaxy.
Oh, that's
Oh
a great
yes,
one.
Yeah,
I love that one. Haven't
and
finished
also
it, but I
Work
love
on
it.
Girl is great.
I hadn't gone back to um, like Mind Game and Cat Soup and all that stuff for a while, and
Hmm.
I only just recently watched Kaiba. Although I think technically the first time I saw his stuff was it might have been on Adventure Time when he directed that episode.
Oh yes,
Did you directed an
I
episode?
think
Yeah,
mine was Mind Game.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that the first thing I saw was Mind Game. So a great way to start, I'd say.
yeah. I
Mm.
drove like an hour and a half to go see Girl Walks Home. Nope, that's a different movie.
Work
Oh,
on Girl, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
The Night is Long, Walk on Girl.
Yes,
Hmm.
not a girl walks home alone at night. That's a very good movie. Also a very good movie, but
I
I
had
still have to watch
tickets.
it. Yes.
a
I
very
had
different movie.
tickets for a film festival where they were showing Night is Long, Walk on Girl. Or Night
Yeah,
is Short. Is it Night is
Night
Short?
is Short, Walk On Girl.
Yes.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Sorry, I have such a bad memory for names. But yeah, I had tickets and then I forgot about it. I was so sad,
I had
especially because it
Oh.
wasn't released at the time. Sorry, yeah.
I similarly had tickets for a Fathom event of it, and there was like, which is
Hmm.
like at least in the U.S. it's like a temporary event thing, kind of special. Like they just rent out regular theaters and then host like anime or classic movies and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot, and then I did something else that night. I was like, "This sucks. I wanted to
Oh
see that movie."
no.
No.
So then I
Yeah,
like,
it's the
Well,
worst.
and
yeah.
then I saw it was airing like in a place like 2 hours from me, in like a small sawmill, repurposed sawmill. I was like, "Fine, I'm gonna go then."
Did you go?
I did go, and I saw it, and it was a great experience.
It sounds like a great experience, especially in a sawmill.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a couple of those in Massachusetts, old sawmills or whatever turned into outlets.
I gotta check that out whenever I go to Massachusetts.
Well, here in Italy, it's very difficult to get the occasion to watch I don't know, animated movies
Yeah,
or anime in
Yeah.
general, because cinemas don't really show them. So it's only something like an occasional thing, like I don't know, the new Evangelion movie is coming out,
Mm.
so maybe some cinemas will show it at some point, and that's all. Yeah.
Is there like a big anime watching culture in Italy? Because like I know in Latin America, like it's big.
I think it's getting smaller.
Oh, wow.
I mean, when I was in high school, um, there were really a lot of people who were interested in anime and manga, or generally in Japanese culture and art. But it really got smaller through the years. So
Oh,
at this point, I think that the majority of interest has gone to only the manga aspect of it.
mm.
And occasionally, some specific movies or some specific series, but it's really not so big anymore. Yeah.
Wow, it's weird.
I feel like
Especially that manga is the predominant
I was gonna
way
say.
of.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem here is that the publishers, I don't know if I could really call them publishers. It's more something like, someone who um, brings anime in here. I mean,
Yeah,
so
Mhm.
sorry for my English.
licensors
Uh,
maybe.
and so what they do is hosting some anime, mainly the biggest one in Japan at the moment, on their streaming platform. And then from the numbers they make on the platform, so for example, I don't know, if a series makes um, a certain number of views,
Mhm.
they then decide to, make a Blu-ray edition and things like that. So it's the amount of things that are arriving here is very small because it's very selected, and in that
Yeah.
way we receive less and less anime each year. Also because the interest obviously gets smaller and smaller, and so they just disappear at some point.
It sounds like there's like a big bottleneck there. Like if it's
Yeah,
just determined
yeah,
by streaming numbers, that's gonna be. Ugh.
yeah, exactly. Especially because the majority of people already watch them in
Oh.
different ways,
Yes.
Mm.
and especially way before they come here, even on the streaming platform. They really come later than the Japanese version, or even the version of, I don't know, France or
Mm.
England and so on. So, you know, it really becomes a little bit useless at some point.
Right, because I'm sure plenty of people, if they didn't watch like fan subs, were like, "Well, I know English enough. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
watch it on
exactly.
Crunchyroll."
Exactly. I mean, I don't know, for example, Psychopaths arrived something like months or even years later. So,
Mm.
what was the point? Everyone had already seen it. So,
Yeah, so it doesn't do
Yeah.
good numbers, so it doesn't get a. Yeah, it's a whole what a
yeah,
mess.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in Latin America, like because like my family's from Peru. Like ever
Hmm.
since I was a kid, like I remember there being like a huge like anime culture there. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about like restaurants being named after Goku or like whatever. Like I haven't seen that in person, but I've seen it online where like
Hmm.
there's a taco restaurant, a taqueria, and they're like it's named after Goku or whatever. I don't know, but
Hmm.
it's very like ingrained. I
Yeah,
think I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't live in Peru, but I used to visit a lot, and like I would like grow up watching like anime on TV in Peru and also in Canada. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, even as a child in the U.S., I am familiar with Telemundo Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god. Oh Lord.
Like if Toonami's in the middle of the Frieza saga, and you're like, but I want to get further. Let's see what Telemundo DBZ has.
Yeah.
See what
Oh
episode they're
Lord.
on. What a weird way to watch TV. But
Mhm.
can you imagine the world where you had to just like turn on the TV at a certain amount of time and hope it was an episode you wanted to watch?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's weird because like I don't think anybody really watches live TV. Like I watch it sometimes to see like, I don't know, the Grammys or something.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's a shame because I remember when I was in Peru, like there would be like anime channels like that showed like music videos between commercial breaks and like they'd be showing
Oh yeah,
Fullmetal
here
Alchemist.
too.
Yeah?
Mhm.
You have like the
Yes.
whole channel dedicated to anime?
Uh, yes, and we also had MTV broadcasting or showing anime, and
Oh.
it's mainly through that one that the majority of things like Cowboy Bebop or
Mhm.
anime from that period arrived in here. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Like yeah, I feel like Cowboy Bebop and like those kind of like maybe 90s kind of stuff, like it's a pretty safe choice to put on something like MTV.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I
Yeah.
really like Cowboy
Mhm.
Bebop and
Well,
stuff like
Bianca
that.
with the hot takes. I like Cowboy. I actually,
Yeah, I'm sorry, don't cancel me, but I kind of like Cowboy Bebop, you know?
listen. I actually watched most of it fairly recently, and I was like, oh, this is
Ooh.
better
Mhm.
than I thought it was. Or like,
Yeah,
not
it's
that I thought it
pretty
was
good.
bad, but like, as a 12-year-old, you don't appreciate some things.
Hmm.
Oh, I also watched it when I was like young, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it pretty late. I mean, during high school or end of high school, and I actually got to know someone who really hates it. So
What?
you know, yeah, because he had studied screenplay, screenplay,
Mhm.
and he always said that Cowboy Bebop had too much time. It spent too much time on building the story during an episode,
Oh my god.
and then they always closed the story too fast. So you got this long introduction, and the ending was too short to appreciate the entirety of the episode. But yeah.
That's kind of I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's a very specific way of kind of approaching a
Yeah,
movie and screenwriting in
exactly.
general.
Yeah.
And like sure, like there's very like plot driven like films and screenplays and stuff, but there's also different forms of like, creating a story and creating a screenplay.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
true.
kind of frustrating to hear like people like I don't know. It's just
Also,
Cowboy
it's
Bebop
very
does.
personal because Cowboy Bebop has something like an authorial mindset. Is
Mhm.
that a thing? I don't know if it's a word in English, but there is Watanabe behind it, so it's very personal. It's not only the studio who is making it, but it's mainly a person, a specific person. So yeah, that's very strange of a kind of strange critic. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's also very nice coming to it later in life where you can be like, as an adult, you can recognize like writers of episodes. So that, like episodes have writers,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, what else do these writers do? And see like, oh, these are the good episodes written by this writer because they write the
Yeah,
good ones. Or like trace people's
that's true.
paths through different series and see where they all go.
Hmm.
Because I think that kind of stuff doesn't get enough like aside from like the three people in anime that get widely acknowledged. I think
Mm-hmm.
authorship doesn't get quite acknowledged enough, especially outside of like major directors.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I blew off Yuri on Ice for so long, and then but if someone had told me at the start of it all that's Sayo Yamamoto directed the show, I would have been on day one because I'm a big fan of like all of her stuff. Otherwise, I really enjoy Michiko and Hachin, and
Oh yes,
and the
that
woman
one
called
is great.
Fujiko
Yes.
Mine. I am a big fan of.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about vibe anime,
I haven't watched that one, but that was the series that I was thinking of as well, Fujiko Mine, because I started watching Lupin the Third recently, I think this year, and I can't remember exactly which part it was. Maybe part 2. It was like the 70s one.
Okay. What color
was
was his jacket?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Was it red? I feel like it might have been red.
Maybe. I think red.
I don't know. I get too much confused with the jackets, so I don't really know.
I think red jacket's early, blue jacket's mid-period, green jacket is Cagliostro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was probably red jacket. I'm pretty sure it was part 2. Let me check. Okay. But it's I was surprised by how much I like it. Like, other than like, Lupin the Third has some pretty gross stuff like thrown in early on. But yeah, I think it was definitely part 2. But it's, I don't know, like the first thing I saw of Lupin was Cagliostro.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that everyone was so bouncy and shit, which gets even better when you watch the series. But I like Lupin. It's very gay, which I appreciate.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Like, it's crazy. That's like me with JoJo when people say, "Oh, I like JoJo," and then they turn out to not see how gay it is. I'm like, okay, why are you watching JoJo then? There's nothing.
How can you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How is it possible?
They must not have watched part 4, at the very least.
Probably yes. Exactly.
Truly. Listen, I admire shippers. I don't partake in the practice myself. I'm a man of the text, as it were. But I wholly respect any interaction with my boy Okuyasu.
Real.
I love Okuyasu.
Real top
and Josuke.
The real top shelf successors to Yusuke and Kuwabara.
You know what? You're right. You're not wrong at all. I feel like they're the spiritual successors. I love you,
Just a big dope in his pal. He's also a big dope. I also really love part 4 the most. I think it's like my favorite part. I think it's the most cohesive part. I think has like. I think Yoshikage Kira is the best like villain.
Yeah, it's a great villain. Yes. Actually, I enjoyed a lot part 6. And I know it sounds a little bit strange because, no one likes it that much, but especially for the ending, but yeah.
Yeah, I've heard more people say like they're coming out and saying like I like Stone Ocean, and I respect that. Like I hear the characters are really good.
Yeah.
I like
Jolene.
Yeah. Jolene's great. I love her. But I think my favorite is part 5 because the only parts that I've seen to like beginning to end were parts 1 and 2, and then I saw a bit of part 3 like about halfway, and then I saw a bit of part 4, and then I skipped to part 5, and I haven't finished part 5, but it's my favorite one. I'm a notorious part skipper, and like I don't care like when people are just like, you can't skip JoJo parts. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah,
life is short.
You can.
Yeah, exactly.
You can. Jotaro is a cool guy. That's all you need to really. Jotaro is cool. Vampires. Dio is bad. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know JoJo. You know JoJo lore. They're named after bands.
Part 5 is.
Yeah, exactly.
Part 5
and
is
after all the parts of JoJo are considered something like a different manga. So I think it's okay to just choose which one you prefer and read that one, and then maybe later get back to the other ones. So
Yeah, a lot of different genres, I feel like.
Yeah, and in the world of shonen anime or shonen manga, where I often say it is basically a collection of character art or costume design that I like to flip through every now and then. Even I think JoJo's in general a little better than that. I think it's also fairly readable on its own. But as a character art book, it's among the best. It's truly the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Truly, just like outlandish designs nonstop.
That is true.
It's like
That's
someone who really loves high fashion.
Yeah, like Araki had the collaboration with Gucci and everything. Like, there's no denying that.
Yeah, dude, he's like, I love people who look cool, but high fashion the way that it's like, that's the beauty of high fashion is that thing that it's that stuff that nobody ever wears, really. But then Araki's world is like, what if people actually wore those clothes all the time?
Yeah.
But anyway, anime, JoJo's. We're talking JoJo here on Indiepocalypse Radio. You know him, you love him. He was originally a real Fist of the North Star. Also ran, kind of became its own thing. It kept getting slenderer and more effeminate as it went on. Ever increasing androgyny. And people were like, those guys used to be Fist of the North Stars? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like just compare what's his name, Jonathan, to like someone like what's his name, Gappy, or like I don't know the one from Part 8. Anyways.
Anyways.
Oh yeah, there's another Josuke in Part 8.
It's all timelines. It's ending apparently.
JoJo?
The Part 8.
Part 8, yes. I think the last chapter will come out in September, I heard.
Oh, I thought you meant JoJo the series. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think he will go on for a while.
But as I've mentioned, I've really been like, I've fallen off of my current series because the only internet manga reading site that I can tolerate to look at, like from a visual design standpoint, and like not bad ads the whole time, all over the place, is Dynasty, which is a very specific website, you know, that does not have any JoJo on it.
Oh, okay.
Dynasty Scan is more like, if you want to learn about girls in love, congratulations, we have 30 tags for you to know which very specific kind you would like.
Is it free?
In the way that any online scanlation site is free.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought maybe it was licensed or something.
No, and most of the stuff I enjoy there is unlicensed anyway, and they do a lot of like doujin translating.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check that out.
If you're really into pairing up your Love Live characters, they've got you covered. But that's also where I came across Ikoko Nikki, which anyway, it's good. I want that to be brought over to the West. It feels like mature, like actually mature. There was on Twitter, what's his face, NACO Beanie Tuesday was like famous Twitter meme guy. I don't know how you call people who are famous because they drew or you know people get Twitter famous occasionally because they draw things that get mimetic. You know, author of The Rap Store. Anyway, asked for like mature comic recommendations and then got very disappointed.
Okay.
Because I'm like, yeah, I kind of maturity is hard to describe. But it's more like, I don't know. You think about it's like art. You kind of know it when you see it, or what it means to different people. And to me,
Ikoku Nikki is Journal with Witch?
Yes, same thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was searching it up. I was trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm big. When I see that non-moe art tag, I'm like, call me interested. But it's adult life. Whew. It's me. That's me at stage 2, Vince McMahon. and then you throw in like introspection and drama, and my whole chair is flipped over, and I'm instantly reading it. But it's very. I think it's that's another meme I've got in my Twitter drafts. So when I go through the effort of making it, because I also really enjoyed Meisane Koku, but this is my new favorite Koku.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that one. I think we talked about it last time I was on the show too.
We did, because I think Joe Witt is also a fan of Meisane Koku.
Yeah, I definitely think.
And how it's like, wow, I didn't know Rumiko Takahashi could make good manga. Which that's an unnecessary burn, but it's like so much better, I think, than the rest of her stuff. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe Inuyasha's very good. I don't know.
I've never finished it actually, so I should read it one day.
Yeah, I remember I got to like 6 issues of Ranma. I'm like, there's like 50 more issues. No,
yeah, exactly. I have like the first 4 issues, and I was like, I closed the 4th one, and I was like, you know what? I'm good for now.
I don't think anything else is gonna change. I think it's gonna spin its wheels.
It's a great time, but I don't know, I get impatient really fast.
Yeah. And how long do you need to have that time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
To bring it all back to the original question, which is why I have these little guys on here on the stream right now. The sassy little child from Hell is that I just finished reading, or I only have the epilogue left from Hell, the old Alan Moore, Eddie Campbell book, and I'm a big known listener, regular listener of Indiepocalypse Radio. Know I'm a huge fan of Eddie Campbell's art. He is like one of those like I think those masters of the black and white, like Euro comics, not Euro comic because he's like English, but it's very weird. It's like, what if Jack the Ripper was the most occult shit, the most occult solution to it?
Wow.
It's interesting. Alan Moore, you can take and leave, you know? I'm not here saying that you have to like the guy, but I enjoyed From Hell. That was what I don't know what's next on my list. I think it's Monster, that not the Urasawa thing. I've read that.
Okay.
It's the Barry Lyndon Smith book that just came out.
Who's the author, sorry?
Barry Lyndon Smith, I believe.
Oh, that's not a mangaka, right?
No, sorry.
It's Barry Lyndon Smith.
No, Lyndon Smith.
Lyndon Smith.
Nope, no, I'm wrong. Oh, it's Barry something Smith, and it's gonna bug me.
Windsor
Smith. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Monster Barry.
I think he did a lot of like.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Windsor.
Yeah,
Smith.
Windsor. I think he did a lot of like X-Men stuff for a while.
Oh.
Like he cut his teeth on that kind of like early. That I'm really fascinated by, and maybe I'll get into it eventually. That Claremont era of X-Men, where it's like one guy basically writing all of X-Men for like a decade, which because it seems very bizarre in Western comics for something to happen like that.
Yeah.
And also,
especially. Oh, sorry. That's just one of my gripes with I do read Marvel comics occasionally.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest gripe, because you have let's say a great arc with one author and one writer. Oh, sorry, what am I talking about? One writer and one artist. And but then you hop to the next series and it's like a totally different thing. You hate the writers.
Yeah. The characters are completely different.
Exactly. No character development.
Yeah, it's the real difficulty of especially Western superhero comics is you just have to pick authors you like.
Yeah.
And then grow zero attachment to the characters because after that book is done, they might as well be dead.
Oh Lord. Have you ever read the Captain America run by Ed Brubaker?
I have not, no.
Nope.
Oh, okay, because I'm still looking for someone to talk about that with, because the first 14 issues I think are like, it doesn't even feel like Marvel. But I'm still like pretty new. Well, not new, but like I'm still pretty not reading that much Marvel comics. So like, but I really really like that run like a lot.
I do read a lot of I have read like a lot of the recently the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, all their different like crime stuff they do together. Like
I haven't checked it out, but
they do a lot of different crime stuff. Fatale is very good. It's like crime, but also magic.
Ooh.
And like weird eldritch stuff.
Okay.
I can always appreciate that. Weird eldritch stuff.
But they're generally pretty good, I think. So that is probably good. I just have not. That's why I'm always really hesitant to get into Western stuff, because it's always like, well, what if I like it? Now I have to like, well, this sucks. Or
like, which is... Yeah. Sorry. Which is like your favorite book, like so far, out of like the big two?
Out of the big two, my favorite...
Because I'm always looking for Rex.
I really like Ecstatics, which you can get as like a... And that is very much like a... one issue, like an issue ends and then a book completely changes, but I think for the better. Where like X-Force ended a run of authors, and then it was like, oh God, how do I forget the guy's name? It's the Allreds, you know, Michael and Laura Allred, plus I forget the writer's name. Is that the guy who also did? I'm asking nobody. Is that the guy who also did? About Shade the Changing Man, I Say to the Void. Oh, Peter Milligan. So it might have been. But it's like, if you're, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of the Allreds, but they work in a very pop art style.
Yeah, no, I haven't read anything from them yet.
So it kind of looks like nothing else in terms of like Marvel comics, and it's like, remember like superhero comics sort of instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
I think
and it's from 2002, right? Ecstatics?
Yes.
Okay, damn.
I think Laura Allred often gets the short shrift. It's not often on the thing, but like she does the coloring, and the color is such an important part of it. And I think it's one of those like unfair things in comics, I think, where like colorists get kind of pushed to the side.
Definitely, yeah.
Where so much of like the pop art look is the color.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also enjoyed that Legion book. Whatever, I forget what it was called. Like Legion Legacy or something.
Legion Legacy.
Cy Spurrier. Let me open up my Labib and see what I've got.
Oh. Okay. I just saw something about dissociative identity disorder. I'm like, oh, hello?
Are you familiar with Legion as a character?
No, I'm not.
So Legion's whole thing is he has like a bunch of different personalities within him, and they all have different powers.
Okay.
There was a really cool... I've only seen one season of it, but the one season I saw of it was a very cool FX show called Legion.
Oh yeah, I see that here. Dan Stevens.
Yeah. Also, like, what a tour de... I would watch it if only for like the absolutely tour de force performance by Aubrey Plaza in that show. She's like, wow, here's like, and I say this with the biggest compliment, here is our next generation's Nicolas Cage. Like, and I mean that with the most sincere, like, compliment of someone who just like walks in and like really acts. It's definitely as opposed to like her very muted style, which she's often written into, I think. But, I don't know what else I've read. I think those are... I don't read a lot of like DC stuff very often.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it's like I've read some the good Batman stuff. I like Doom Patrol, both the original Arnold Drake one and the Grant Morrison one. I think.
Yeah, I heard a lot about Doom Patrol from one of my professors.
It's very cool. I think it's
when
cool.
the series was coming out.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen it yet because Canada, but but like he was like giving it high praise.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh.
It's really weird. Like even the original Doom Patrol is like it's got a lot of weird stuff in it, and like has like some progressive stuff for like it feels like wildly progressive for like 50s comics.
Oh,
50s superhero. When it's not even that progressive, you know. But like for the 50s comics, it feels really weird. And
the only thing I've seen from Doom Patrol so far is like that meme where it's like that guy with that mask and he's like therapy, like
oh yes.
You know that image?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Grant Morrison Doom Patrol that's what the show pulls a lot from.
Yeah.
Because it's like the most iconic era, I think. Because it kind of took those earlier ideas and kind of ran wild with them. Or was like, because Grant Morrison's a weird guy. He likes to make metatextual stories about things.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know how much of Grant Morrison's work you're familiar with.
Not at all.
Yeah. He's one of those old Brit guys that everyone likes, like Alan Moore.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That was like, what if we made superhero comics for adults, but like actually for adults and not like the way where it's just like a lot of bad stuff happens to people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool. There's I'm trying to gamble a stamp. Being clever is all well and good. There's another. I just type being clever in the internet, like that would help me at all. Like one of the characters is, you know, Charles Atlas.
No.
Charles.
Nope.
So he's an old strongman where he was like, have you ever seen this got memed a little back in the day, where it's like a guy's on the beach and he's kicking sand and he's like, get out of here, weak nerds. And then he's like, I'll gamble.
I don't think so.
I'll gamble a stamp. This is Charles Atlas.
Charles Atlas.
He's a real treat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know this man, but his image showed up on Google, so
yeah.
I have a visual at least.
Yeah, let me pull up this Hero of the Beach real quick.
His face looks very trustworthy.
He made a man out of Mac.
Oh, what?
He made a man out of Mac.
Like mac and cheese?
No, like Mac. He's so little. Why is he so little? Oh, okay, it blows up pretty well. I think that's just because the other image was tiny. The insult that made a man out of Mac. But yeah, so Charles Atlas was this like back of comic ad about like, hey, send me a stamp and I'll give you advice to make you a really tough man. And Flex Mentalo is basically just Charles Atlas, but a comic book character. It's a weird thing. He has an aura of Hero of the Beach. It's very cool. Anyway, I think Doom Patrol is good as well. I guess this is all circle around and say I like Doom Patrol. I like a lot of Vertigo stuff, but
okay.
But then even a lot of Vertigo stuff is like not like DC related Vertigo stuff. It's kind of like whatever other stuff they put out that just had the imprint on it. You know, Why the Last Man or whatever.
Like Fables, you mean?
Yes. Or like,
okay.
I think the best consistently good Western comic is Hellblazer.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I think it's the only one that kind of like changes authors and is still like not bad, but I think about this line. I was thinking about Doom Patrol because I think about Flex Mentalo, who also gets his own book, and I think about the line, being clever is a fine thing, but sometimes a boy just needs to get out of the house and meet some girls. And I think that about people online all the time. And maybe
That's good.
I think everyone online, just not even you sheltered boys. Everyone online just needs to get out and meet some girls every now and then, and just get off Twitter for once in their life.
Like go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
Talk to the cashier. Make eye contact. You know.
When people say touch grass, what
Like,
I
not
think.
even the grass.
Yeah.
The grass doesn't speak. You need to talk to some people.
Exactly. Whatever people say touch grass, this is what I think. It's the same thing when I would tell someone touch grass, this is what I instead think in my brain. Being clever is a fine thing. But sometimes a boy needs to get out of the house and meet some girls.
Oh my god, I love that.
What's that supposed to? It's a weird comic. It's good. It's like, what's that supposed to signify? Nothing. Anyway, comic books, they're good sometimes, folks. I love them. Maybe there's something wrong with my brain, which is why I can't connect. Or is why I connect with comic books over other forms of like written literature, perhaps. Who knows? I'm not paying a doctor to tell me.
Because that shit is expensive too.
Exactly. I'd rather there just be something I'm aware of, maybe, or maybe it's the culture. Maybe there's like this cultural pressure of high art versus low art, and there's actually nothing wrong, and I'm putting this all on myself. Who knows? Anyway, this show, we gotta wrap it up. We're talking too long. Not the we're talking too long. We need to end the conversation. Talking too long that I've been meaning to keep this show shorter, and you baited me all into talking about comics, and that was my weakness.
It's cool. It's cool. I appreciate the recommendations. Now I have to check out Ecstatics.
Yeah, it's
by the Allreds. That's what I learned from this conversation.
Yeah, the Allreds are cool. They have like very cool art. They just re-released Madman, which was like their solo book. I think his brother also worked on it. I think the brother's name is Brian. Michael and Laura, a married couple who work together. Because you have to. Because if you just drew the art and no one colored it, where would you be? And if you just colored it, didn't draw the art, where would you be? It's a symbiotic relationship. But that's it. I think that's... I'd recommend good comics. Everyone go out there and read good comics. That's my recommendation. There's a lot of good indie books. Indie books are good. Get into indie stuff. Go to your local comics festival.
Buy Indiepocalypse. Play Hit Me.
Yes, exactly. Buy Indiepocalypse. Play Hit Me.
And also
are kind of
occasionally touch grass, but more often talk to girls, you know?
Yes, but not too
really
much.
Occasionally.
But
yeah,
I must stress this: do not talk to them too much, and only if they want to.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. Damn, it's like we have to come up with a whole guide.
Well, people on the online.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk to girls.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm just looking at my sum. Does the beep say how many are in here? Let me look at libraries. How many do I have? Can I check? I think I have to look at my phone to see my number. As we close out and get ready for plugs, we're going to play one more game. I'm trying to get ready to playing games for Indiepocalypse. For the pledge drive. I have some in mind. But here on this episode of Indiepocalypse Radio, we're going to play a fun game called Guess the Size of Andrew's Comics Collection, excluding zines, which are a separate category. Zines are things that are too small to put on a shelf and have their spine show, so I put them in a filing crate.
All right. Well, you can put zines on a shelf.
I've
done it. It's possible. But okay.
Yeah. But
I'm ready.
I like them in the crate.
Is there a winner to this game? Sorry.
The winner is the person who gets close enough without going over. Price is Right rules.
I'm ready.
Do they have the prices right in Italy or in Canada?
Of course we have it in Canada. Well, we don't make it in Canada, but we watch it in the laundromat,
Yes.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, I haven't heard it.
Oh, sorry. I have to control myself sometimes because I realize...
No, don't worry.
I'm a northerner, and even in the U.S. we talk very quickly, and I think I talk quickly for someone in the north as it is. But no, the game is I'm looking at I've loaded up my Labib app on my phone. Labib being a handy free. I'm not going to plug them. Fuck, you know what I'm saying, folks. It's a cool. sometimes you're an obsessive. You need to catalog all of your stuff
Yeah.
by scanning barcodes, and it allows me to do that.
Okay.
I'm looking at my. I'll say, I'll give you a hint. My zine count is at 105. Whether that's a useful hint or not, that is what that number is. And the question is, how big is my comic collection? This is counting graphic novels, trades, basically things that have spines.
Okay, so no like single issue comics.
No, I don't actually buy single issue comics at all.
Oh, okay. I buy them sometimes. I used to.
I only have like online, but usually that would then just necessitate me going to a comic book shop. And
you don't like going to comic book shops?
I'm afraid. What if they're nerds there? And they want to talk to me about Spider-Man?
I've never talked to anyone in a comic book shop. Just the cashier.
Yeah, the same for me. Yes.
That would probably
right. At least like a mainstream one.
Yeah. What if I'm getting stuff that's like I never know. I never know like what I'm getting. Also sometimes so I think the last book I was subscribed to was Monstrous.
Oh, I heard about that one. Marjorie.
I love Monstrous. It's beautiful and well written. It's good. It's good dark fantasy that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sorry. 105 zines you said.
105 zines. How many?
105 zines.
How many standalone books do you think I have?
Oh my god! Wait, so no trade paperbacks
No,
or
this
like?
includes trade paperbacks. This includes like each volume of a series. For instance.
Okay.
Mm.
So say for instance, Hunter x Hunter is probably like 30 volumes or something.
Well, do you have all 30?
I have every released issue of Hunter x Hunter. That's the only other clue you get. My two clues.
Okay, I know it's gonna be a big number. That's as far as I know.
Right. Well, that's metatextual clues.
And you said, and you said 30. If you have all issues of Hunter x Hunter,
yeah,
that means that you have all the issues of like a lot more other manga series.
Yeah.
At least a couple.
I usually complete stuff.
Okay.
I've only gotten a couple fillers that I was like, I don't need to buy more of these, and they were very much like cart fillers.
30. Okay, so
and actually,
you usually complete stuff. Damn, I'm scared. Like,
I'm scared too when I looked at that number.
Let me think. I think it's gonna be somewhere in the thousands.
Yeah, maybe even more.
More than more than 9,000. I'm gonna say like no, definitely it has to be over the 1,000. At least over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with 1,799.
Okay.
That's my number.
What is your guess?
Uh,
Remember, highest without going over.
I might change it depending on your answer.
You can't change your answer's locked in.
What? No, I didn't know that rule.
It is. That's the rule. They're not like, hey, Drew, can I change my number? Someone else can answer.
So I think 1,500 or so.
I'm gonna say you're both pretty close to each other, so that means that the winner is Bianca.
Yeah,
who was the closest with a total of 2,175 total books.
That's a lot of goddamn books.
I like comic books, y'all.
I believe it.
Worth it, I mean.
And that is like more pre-ordered, like.
Oh.
And I think that number is not even like inflated by manga naturally having more volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of that is also Western comics and like European and everything else. Manga.
That's a lot of books.
It is.
Yep.
Where do you keep them?
folks don't. My answer is you don't live in a city, and when you don't live in a city, you can live in a house, and houses have multiple rooms in them.
Do you have like a whole library, like in your house?
Kind of, but it is rather cramped still.
Oh.
I do not have a spacious Beauty and the Beast style library that I have a sliding ladder for.
Imagine if you did though.
Oh, I would.
And then you just pull out like a copy of like Ranma or something.
To disrespect my guess.
Like, you know, like Beauty and the Beast style. Like, you're just like, here's my collection of Ranma.
Yeah.
One half.
Here, check this out. Here, check out this copy of. I'm just like going through all these things. Like, what do I have in here? I have some Love and Rockets. I have some Nancy's. Because also, like, I have like everything. And it's like, I sometimes fall down holes of watching like comic collection videos. And I'll watch someone who's like, check out my 2,000 plus manga collection. I'm like, I also have a 2,000 plus comic collection. I'm like, wow, how do we literally have 2 series in common and nothing else?
Yeah.
Why does someone need to own so many copies of Black Butler?
Oh, Jesus.
Seems unnecessary to me, honestly. But anyhow, I apparently own a bunch of rare comics now too that have gone up in value, which I didn't know about. There was a thread going around about comics of like, what are your white whales? And people are like, I really wish I could get 2 Terra. I'm like, I have 2 Terra.
Oh, I have to Terra too.
Yeah, it's apparently like
but only
$90.
one issue.
It's apparently like $90 to $100 now.
I got it for like $10 from a man in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Like, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I was just like, anyone have 2 Terra? This guy was just like, yeah, let me hit you up. And we went to the freaking mall and he gave it to me. And now I have 2 Terra, which I never finished.
Let me tell you about my copy of The Passion of Gengoro Tagame, which last sold at eBay for like $500.
Damn.
And I bought for like 20.
It sold for 100?
No, like 1,000.
Are you gonna sell it anytime soon?
You know, Fantagraphics is re-releasing it as 2 soft covers.
Oh.
So I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep that thing.
I thought you were gonna say yeah. I'll sell it. I can get it again.
No.
But no, I respect that. I respect that.
As an early adopter, and listen, that's. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the Indiepocalypse warning. I think I mention this every time I mention that. Do not look up The Passion of Gengoro Tagame. Do not look it up. Or look it up with SafeSurf 1,000% on.
Actually, now that you mention it, I recognize that name.
You guys, what do you guys know about Bara?
I've heard about it. I've seen shirts at TCAF.
Yeah, that is...
Yeah, that's probably the same.
I think Gengoro Tagame had come to TCAF probably because that guy, one of the TCAF heads, invited him. Anyway, yeah, at one point it sold for $1,000 on eBay back in May, so it's definitely gone downhill, probably because of the Fantagraphics re-release. But anyway, expensive, folks. It's a good. It's. Never let anyone tell you Andrew's a prude. What I can say is you can respect people that also like horny stuff at the same time. Everyone, there's something to be found in that connection and that recognition of
horniness.
Yeah. There's 2 wolves inside of me. One of them likes smut. The other one respects people's identities and boundaries.
All right.
Anyhow, I have that picture. I have that copy of Pictures for Sad Children with a dead wasp in it. I wonder if that's worth any money. Anyhow, we're gonna shut this down before I start flipping through all my comics, because I realized that it was sorting by the year that I added them, which means this list is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Oh no.
Anyway, plugs. What have we got to plug? Bianca, what have we got? I'm going to plug for Fisher. Fisher Brookout. Paparazzi's coming out soon. By Paparazzi. There you go. I think that covered it enough.
Oh, plugs for me.
Yeah, Bianca, what have we got to plug?
Nothing really. Just follow me on Twitter, please. And also, I have an Etsy store where I sell merch. You can check that out if you're inclined to buy fan art.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, oh wait, shit! I didn't give my Twitter handle. I'm at CryoCannon on Twitter and Etsy and Instagram and Tumblr. Yeah.
Perfect. And Kaku, what have you got to plug?
Yeah, well, I think the same. I mean, the team's profile is on Twitter, Solitude, so you can, follow that, and it's all. Yeah.
Perfect. I will say, hey, everyone, you should buy Indiepocalypse. I think it's good. Buy issue 8.
Yeah, I've heard it too, yes.
Buy issue 10, sorry. Buy issue 10. Or issue 4. Both good issues. I would recommend in this particular instance.
Buy all of them. Just get all of them.
Yeah,
they're very good.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all money to me, which goes to, if you didn't guess by this the game we played earlier, the majority of my money goes back into art. I also am a super backer because I've backed probably like hundreds of comics as well online.
Wow.
On Kickstarter.
Yeah. Buy Indiepocalypse, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, exactly. Submit your games to indiepocalypse.com/submit. Worship me at the Cult of Personality so that I may start my own comic podcast, because that's what you need to do first. You need to become a personality, then people will let you start a podcast about whatever you want. And then I can talk about like Meg and Mog, and then we can also talk about Yotsuba back to back. I think it's good. I think Yotsuba has so many delays because he's waiting for it to be acceptable to have a same-sex couple in an all-ages manga. That's Andrew's hot theory. I think they have Butch over there too. I've spent a lot of time reading all about like trying to grasp, like I get obsessed with like different things, and like anyway, can I basically, is my read of this culture right? Or like I get annoyed when when I'm trying to read like a piece of media, but I feel like I'm missing an important piece of knowledge. And anyway, is this subtext? Is this not? That sort of thing. Join me on my Andrew's quest for true queer manga one day. I'll find it and I'll be like, yes, perfect, the gay Naruto of my dreams.
If you ever find it, let me know. You know where to reach me.
I will. I feel like I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer each day to like just characters being queer, but it not being. I have some guidelines. They can't be in high school. It can't be only about that, and it can't be like fucking no, like only men or only women, like your weird fantasy world. And
like the trashier ones. Have you ever read Our Dreams at Dusk?
I love Our Dreams at Dusk.
So good.
Big, but it's also a little too explainery for me sometimes.
You mean about the gay stuff, or like about the story? Yeah, I haven't read it in a while, but I feel like I kind of remember that. I'm looking at my.
It's the same problem with it, but I think that's just like a differences in culture,
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
It's like newer concepts for mainstream audiences in Japan that they needed explained or something. I don't know. My understanding is they have a real NIMBY vibe over there about the whole thing. But NIMBY being not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'm not too like.
Neither am I.
Knowledgeable about Japanese culture, especially like relationships with queer stuff.
Not especially. Sometimes, listen, I have sometimes very late night YouTube rabbit holes or something because I'll be reading something. I'm like, this is supposed to be like, this is the read I'm supposed to get out of these characters, right? 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 I say to no one else in the room.
In your library,
Yeah.
clutching your manga tomes.
I'm like, right? That's the point, right? The point, like, the reason why they're like, hey, I'm going to keep asking this girl on a date, and then every time we go to ask her on a date, she's like, no, I'm actually doing, it turns out she's doing the exact same thing with her short-haired, smoking female friend. Definitely nothing there. Whatever.
It's all good. Death of the author, after all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to some extent, whatever. Listen, join me for my Yotsuba retrospective or whatever, my TED talk on Yotsuba and why those two women are dating later. And people go, wow, I can't believe Enter contradicted the fact that it says he doesn't ship, and I'll say, this isn't shipping, it's literary analysis. I'm reading the text.
You know what, Andrew? Just open your heart to shipping. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you don't have to be afraid.
Yeah, we accept it here. This is a safe space.
Maybe I'm just very picky about it, you know? I'm like, it takes a lot to draw it out of me. I will look at like your Naruto's and I'll be like, how heterosexual could he be? And the answer is extremely. But
what you're saying is like you need evidence.
Right,
kinda.
Exactly. That's why
Canonical evidence?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, yeah. Or
Yeah.
metatextual evidence about like, anyhow.
Well, I don't know about you, but I just dunk all that shit in the garbage. I don't need evidence. I don't need the text.
Right.
I just do what I want.
You just need those nice folks looking at each other politely.
Well, yeah, they don't even have to meet. Anyways, I'm exposing myself.
Yeah, for the final time on this show.
This should be a recurring segment. Bianca reveals something deeply embarrassing about herself.
Bianca, I have an idea. Are you busy September 3rd? I have an idea for an Indiepocalypse pledge drive segment.
Oh no! I said that as a joke, but yeah, I am.
Bianca's embarrassment corner.
Stop! Listen, I have enough of that in real life.
Yeah. I can't wait till I can see people in real life, having done it fairly recently. There's a different experience when you can see a person, you know, in like their actual real world. I think cameras are different. I don't think it's the same. It's why I don't like to do it. Anyhow, shut her down, folks. We're gonna close out this show with Hop Along and Young and help me, I forgot the name of that song.
Well, I don't know. I just know Kurapika's in this one.
It is. It's not Young and Dumb, is it? Hop Along super fans in the chat. What's the name of that Hop Along song? It's from Disowned, their first studio album. It's like the penultimate track. Young and Happy. Young and Happy. We're going to close it out with Young and Happy by Hop Along, or part of Young and Happy, not the whole thing. Anyway, goodbye, everyone. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm going to hit stop recording and transition over.